Yes, people, how you doing? Welcome back to the last word on Sean's Spurs talk show. Wait, why did I say it that way? I think I just saw someone saying that we're not on last word on Spurs. We're not on last word. See someone in the comments calling me out for being late like the last word on Spurs. Brain fart straight out of the gate. You know where this one's going, people. I've already screwed up. Let's get drunk and let's see where we go. How's everybody doing? We are back. We are back. The code is out there. The link is out there. People in the Spurs Talk Show WhatsApp group to jump on. Rain has come in. How are you, Rain? Good to see you.
I am good. I'm good. Busy. I'm looking forward to football starting, Sean. Like everybody else, I'm looking forward to the transfer window closing, hopefully with a positive spin, and football really kicking in. I started watching Championship football because it's the competitive football
league. Good league, though. It's a good league, the Championship. I'd rather watch that than the Community Shield. Arsenal already doing Arsenal things with one of their players diving. There should be some retrospective action on that. The whole Arteta screaming in the face of the four. It's already winding me up, Rain. It's already Arsenal and Arteta are already winding me up. Fair play, they won the Community Shield. Fair play. Right, and City, you've got a lot of work to do, by the way. A lot of work to do, which is part of today's show, because I was watching earlier LB of the City fame variety, and he put out a premiere, basically losing his mind, saying, like, what's going on? What's his name? Viana, the City group, DF, Director of Football, whatever, DOF. He's basically going, you're letting us down here. And then you find out today, more pertinently to Tottenham Hotspur, Rain. I was muddied. We spoke backstage just for a minute there about how you're occupying the middle of the road, in which, by the way, there's a hell of a lot of space, right? A hell of a lot of space in the middle of the road for a reasonable take. But in football, rather than everyone that's on either extreme going, yeah, no, I can appreciate why you can see both sides of the kind of coin here, but I just personally feel like I'm going to lead with my emotions. Rather than people appreciating the middle of the road, people on either side want to throw stones.
I'm getting so much flack.
I get it, man.
I'm having to hide myself from various WhatsApp groups because it's like, you're a bozo, you've got no idea about this, and from the other side, I'm also a bozo.
Yeah. I really get it. I've been there, man. I've been there many times. This is the thing, though, right? When you sit in the middle of the road, both extremes consider you to be an extreme, because to them, they think that their opinion is not extreme. They think their opinion is reasonable, logical, and with relatable value. And so if you happen to disagree with them, it's exactly the same thing on the Tel thing for the most part, although a lot of people, I'm not getting into Tel today, but I'm not going to spend it forever because whatever it is, I'm only having fun with it. But certainly with the whole Levy thing back in the day, there was no Levy in. It was either you're vehemently Levy out, but if you happen to just acknowledge him as being someone that did a few things. And by the way, as part of the show today, we're going to be looking at football finance expert Kieran Maguire, who actually sort of, to some degree, gave a little bit of a doff cap tipping towards Tottenham when he wasn't talking about Tottenham. He was talking about the problems with regards FFP, SCR, Newcastle, Aston Villa fans, like, should they feel vindicated, or the fact that Chelsea and Man City got ahead of the curve, all this sort of bollocks, right? Anyway, long story short, if you are in the middle of the road, Rain, you are ostensibly the other side of the road to people that are on the other side of the road but view their opinion as middle of the road reasonable. You know what I mean?
I love the chat that you've cultivated. Rich S man, I just disagree. I just disagree with everything. That's it. And the problem is when you've got people on the either side of the road, they're quite happy to just scream at each other. They're just quite happy to just shout at each other because neither of them wants to listen to what the other one's got to say. Really, yeah. They just want to shout. So when there's someone in the middle who's like going, well, okay, yeah, but what? I get you, but what about this? Then they have to engage, and that.
They don't want to do that, mate. They don't want to do that because for every person that's extreme, there's someone more extreme than them, right? And so they consider that person to be they think they're in the middle, and the people that are more like if I'm someone that's a Levy outer, and I'm like Daniel Levy is a terrible chairman, absolutely horrendous, right? He was one of the worst ever. But then you got someone who that person probably spends time with in WhatsApp groups. And there's someone in there that calls Daniel Levy a cancer or a parasite, right? Then that person to them is the more extreme version of them. Therefore, if you say, yeah, listen, I agree that Daniel Levy had some really bad parts to his chairmanship, but actually he did a couple of good things. That's the alternative. So there's no one really that's the other side which goes, Daniel Levy was the best thing since sliced bread. So anybody that ever just gives you even slight acknowledgement that there is another side to the conversation, that is the extreme. And that's where we are right now. To bring it forward into present tense terminology here, that is where we are, people. Because right now, people are starting to forget about what's happened in the last 3 months and focusing on what's happened in the last 6 weeks. And you're starting to find that chasm, that unbelievable Grand Canyon of opinions that really isn't that far apart in the grand scheme of things, but they are starting to emerge, which is some people are willing to sit there and go, look, the window relatively has been better than most, but yes, there's work to do and we're running out of time. And the other people that are sitting there saying, no, nothing's fucking changed if we go into the start of the season with Tel and Micky Moore and Richalison as our front three for the Brentford game. And that is like, everybody can admit there's work to do, but there's people that are emerging that are already representing this as a nothing-has-changed.com scenario. Am I wrong, Rain?
Absolutely. And it's like I was trying to explain it last night when there was lots of shouting going on the stream I was on. And I said, look, we're all on the same boat. None of us have got hold of the rudder. None of us. We're all on the boat, and we've all got an opinion as to where the boat's going. Some people think the boat is heading towards the rocks, right? And some people don't care. Some people just want to play cards on this boat and shuffleboard, right? But why are you each shouting at each other?
Shuffleboard on a boat would be really difficult, by the way.
I don't know. What's the thing that they do with the?
I think you're talking about reorganising the deck chairs. That's the usual phrase that I think you mean. Like the Titanic is.
No. I mean, people just want to just sit there and just wait for the boat to get wherever it's going, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
And there's some people who are like, no, there's rocks ahead. There's these massive problems. And the thing is, both of them are fine. Both of them, you can not care. You can want to wait till the end of the window. You can be really, really concerned, and both are absolutely valid opinions. Absolutely fine. And a lot of what people are arguing about is timing. I say at the very start of the window, there's 4 milestones during the transfer window. There's when it opens. There's when pre-season starts. There's when the Premier League starts. 4 days. And there's when the transfer window. And some people, some people are dead set. Well, ideally, listen, I think everybody accepts. Ideally, you get all your transfers done by the time pre-season starts. Although, does it matter these days?
No one ever gets their entire window done in the first couple of weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. No one ever does. And these days, what's pre-season anyway? Pre-season seems like a complete irrelevance. It's just like I don't know what they're doing during pre-season, and nobody seems to care. So some people.
Hang on, because that's also not true. I was listening to Stel's channel last night, right? And I wasn't logged in to my Google account, so I couldn't comment. But had I commented, I would have commented this, okay? Because I was hearing. Basically, Mathys Tel is bang average. He's dog shit. Again, I don't want to talk about Mathys Tel specifically, but this is this case in point. The kind of like the double standards. And people are going, it's pre-season, right? The reason why, even though Mathys Tel might have had the best pre-season amongst Tottenham squad, it's pre-season, so therefore we can't take anything away from it. Which, if you believe that, and a lot of people do, and by the way, it's a fine argument, if you think that pre-season is a glorified kick around, it's a fitness test, therefore nothing to see here, Absolutely fine. Just be consistent. But in the very next sentence, do not be telling me that Malachi Hardy should therefore be getting minutes in the first team because of the amazing fucking pre-season that he's had. And players like Luca Williams-Barnett should be starting for Tottenham Hotspur because of the amazing pre-season that they've had. If the pre-season is irrelevant, then hold that same standard to everybody, not to an agenda that you don't rate Mathys Tel, therefore you or anyone like him who you don't want to rate, you haven't rated, but the people that want to see the youth team getting a fucking presentation, a promotion, and a fucking glorified red carpet as we walk out into the start of the season, if you're going to say the reason why they are ready is because of the performances against MK fucking Dons and because of an Australian team and the fucking Kiwis, Auckland, you can't have it both ways. Okay, just be consistent.
Are we talking about principles here, Sean? Are we talking about? We are talking
about principles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, you know, I've always been very much has to be done before pre-season starts. But then I'm looking at this pre-season. You know, I always want to see if my opinion should change. Right? And I look at this pre-season and I reflect back on previous pre-seasons. And it's clear that clubs no longer really give a monkeys about pre-season. Yeah, it is good for the players to get together. It is good to get some training done, and it's easier for us to not have an amazing pre-season because we've only got one game a week. You know, compared to teams where they've got at least two games a week, so they've only got like two days worth of training. You know, but. So actually, you know, should I be that worried if we haven't got it all done by pre-season? Probably not. Am I worried if we haven't got it done by the first game of the season? More so. And especially when we're currently light. Because it looks like, I mean, Mikey Moore has to start up. Mikey Moore's going to start at right wing, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, as it stands, almost certainly. Even if you sign Savinho today, the deadline to get people registered for the game on Saturday is Friday night, I think at 11 p.m. But he won't have his work permit. So regardless of whether you get it done. But we're going to move it. We're going to move out of this initial kind of conversation. I'll let you finish your point, Rain. But in a minute, I've got to do some admin for everyone. And we're going to, the topics of today, by the way, there's some stories out about Savinho. There's stories out about Gakpo. None of them are good. None of them are going to be interesting or things that are not going to wind you up if you happen to be people that sit on the oche of just pay the money, pay whatever you want. If that's who we want, pay the money. But at the same time, like always in the game of Tottenham, there are two sides to the same story. And we are going to be looking at things like this, which is and that's not even up to date. It kind of technically is, but technically isn't. There's obviously a little bit of money that we know that's not included in there that's going to come in next year from the loan deals that will become permanent for Dragosin and all these other guys. So in terms of like official money that's coming in, that's where we are. Net spend of 79 million, which doesn't sound like a hell of a lot, which does make you think you've got a lot of room to work with. However, the prices that are on display and the demands of certain teams, it's out of fucking control. And we have to talk realistically about not just the 26-27 season, but what happens in the 27-28 January window, or the 26-27 January window, and the 27-28 and 28-29. These things are not, Tottenham is not, season by season is not in isolation. So we have to talk about the consequences of going bonkers. And what is being asked of teams right now is to go bonkers. And when people say it's not your money, guess what, guys? It kind of is on a micro level, right? You are tokenized value add into the coffers. Even though they might be putting their £100 million in here and there, at the end of the day, it will come back. The Pied Piper will need its money. At the end of the day, if we go and drop 100 million quid on Savio and 80 million quid on Gakpo or whatever the fuck it's going to be, and whoever else may or may not come in, at the end of the day, at some point, they are going to put the prices up on the things that generate the football club's money in order to justify and qualify and quantify their ability to continue doing this as a going concern. It is what it is. So when you say it's not my money, I don't care, it might not be all your money, but you are participating into that economy, and there will be complications or consequences of this madness for not just us, but for every other team. We're going to get to it in just a second. Rain, I'm sorry I went off on a rant there. Do you want to finish your point, and then I'm going to do some admin because I need to...
And the primary way that they monetize it is this. It's either we go and watch it and we pay ticket money, or you watch it on TV, and one of those two has to go up. That's or both.
They are going to go up.
That's the
I
way.
had Sky phoning me. Sky, I cancelled my Sky account 2 years ago, 18 months ago. They haven't called me in the last 6 months. Finally, they stopped calling me. Today, they started calling me again, offering me discounts on the current prices. I said, what are the current prices? The current prices blew my mind. They're like 30% higher than what they were when I cancelled. And I'm like, what? Like, they are desperate. But if Sky can't afford to participate, that's a big fucking problem in the not too distant future, because they've got to pay they have to continue to pay their fees into the Premier League. Without live sports, Sky are nothing, right? Nobody watches Sky movies anymore. Nobody watches series on Sky, right? It's all about live sport. But most people who have got 2 brain cells now know that there's easier ways, cheaper ways to go and access live sport. And so I don't know how the rubber meets the road, but it doesn't look good, because when you've got football clubs that are paying these prices, you've got all sorts of football clubs. And Ray, I don't know if you're schooled up on what's been happening. Excuse me, what's been happening in the last 48 hours with Chelsea, with Todd Bowley and Clearlake and the other fella, Powter, looking for an exit. This was something that I was speaking about 2 years ago. It was an inevitability, unbelievably problematic for Chelsea. The Chelsea fans are putting their fingers in their ears and their hands and their thumbs over their eyes, pretend like there's nothing to see here. There is a lot to see here. It's massively problematic. Shirt sponsors, not in like favour right now. People can't find the money. Still no stadium naming rights sort of names that are coming in. I think there is a bit of a fucking balloon that is like got to a stretching point, and it's going to come back on the fans at one point. So again, when you say it's not your money, it's not all your money, but you are a participant in this system. And so it is worth having those conversations around, even if just on an opportunity cost perspective, what happens if you spend it on Savinho and it doesn't work out? And the numbers that are being thrown around today regarding Savinho and Gakpo, if they are even plausible right now, are eye-watering, and it's very difficult to justify.
Yeah. yeah, all of that, and we're not even into the. I mean, there was a whole thing about somebody posted something about Singapore, just about how much they're paying in Singapore for their TV subscription to watch sports, and they get every game. But we're not even into the fact that you have to buy, an Amazon to watch some of the games. I don't know if that's still a thing this season, but it has been in the previous season. And you have to have a TNT, and you have to have a Sky Sports or HBO Max or whatever it is, and a Sky Sports, and you still don't get to watch every game.
Mate, it's a joke. If you are someone that's old school and you still pay for your Sky and your TNT and all that stuff, and you get your broadband, and you think you get like the amount of money that guy was offering me, like he's like, oh, we'll give it to you 50% cheaper. I was like, okay, that's interesting. What does that sound like? I was like, what? You guys are dead. You are done out here. If that is if you are giving 50% discounts and that is your number, when I can currently go and get everything that you can offer for literally 10% of that, like, you're done. And if they are done, Rain, that the implosion of that model, I know that eventually the Premier League will move to the Premflix of sport. I know Singapore is the beta, the pilot test or whatever, but they're still, I think it's not until 2021, 22, I think. I could be wrong about that. No, sorry,
2031.
Is it 2031, 32 or 2029, 30? It's still 2 or 3 years away before the Sky contract is the current one is done. So there's a lot of runway there to figure something out, but it all ultimately falls on you, the consumer.
And the thing with Sky that I just don't get, they had to have all of this infrastructure spend, right? They had to have all of these bands, all of these dishes go up, and you could understand why there was a massive investment and why they had to fund that investment. Surely prices should be dropping like a stone, because all they're doing is providing it. Their running costs must be so low in comparison to what they were 15, 20 years ago. But the prices only seem to go up. And why are the prices going up? It's because the the clubs are demanding more money so they can go and spend 85 million on Savinho.
Yeah, and don't forget also, just quickly, I know people in the chat are going, I see Emma Morton saying, big up to you, Kate. How are you? You okay?
Yes, good, thank you. You?
Great to see you. Great to see you. I know people in the chat are saying, "Oh, I see Emma Morton going. We get it, Sean. Move on." This is a big deal, and this is like this. You know what this channel does, right? We first and foremost we speak at 100 miles an hour on this chat. I was listening to some people earlier on this morning, and I was like, they were speaking so slowly that I dialed it up to 2 times speed, and I could still hear them every single word articulated necessarily. It's a lesson, right? If you are a content creator, go and listen to yourself on 2 times speed. And if you can still work out what is being said, you're speaking too fucking slowly. It winds me up. Okay. So like we get through quickly. We get through a lot of things. We get through them quickly here. Yes, we're trying to have fun, but sometimes there's a bit of education, a little bit of like need to diagnose, because all of this shit is going to come back on fans, especially in the UK, but across the Premier League. And there is going to be a melting point, a point like the point where you get to like with AI and the human race, where that point of no return, right? And we're almost there. It's kind of there with the bubble in financing. It's mental. When you look at what's happening with Chelsea, you have to take a stark knowledge, a stark awareness, and go, this isn't working out for them. They did it their way. That is private equity problems. And those things are going to have ramifications and ripples that will filter through. And you are going to be the person that has to pick up the check at the end of the day as an individual, not for the whole bigger picture. So that is why when people say it's not your money, it's not my money, I don't care, just go and get Savinho. We are going to move into the transfer news, right, in just a second. I do have a lot of admin I've got to take care of first. But when people say it's not my money, I don't care, fine. First and foremost, I'll remind you, it is your money. Second thing I would say, and this is why I'll bring you guys back in here quickly. At some point, you too, who currently doesn't have a problem with Tottenham paying 85 or 90 million pound for Savinho, 2 goals, by the way, in 60 appearances in the Premier League, 2 goals. People telling me he's going to bench everybody, him and Kudus. I can't wait to see them. All that bollocks. Don't forget about Mathys Tel is going to explode. And you lot are winding me up. I can see you in the chat when I'm doing my monologue. I can see you. Don't do it to me. But even you who says 85, 90 million quid is fine, it's not my money, at some point you will have a number where you will say it's too much. Whether that is 110, whether that's 150, whether that's 200 million, at some point, surely you who doesn't give a fuck about things because they're not your money will have a problem with Tottenham paying certain numbers. And when you look at what is happening at Chelsea, they are so desperate to get rid of Neto, but they are also looking at the market and saying, well, if Bradley Barcola is 135, then Pedro Neto is 120, then what happens to Savinho? With regards, Gakpo, the same fucking thing. If Tottenham Hotspur spend 200 million quid, or euros, sorry, 160, 170 million quid on Cody Gakpo and Savinho, because they are our targets, and that is what we are basing our entire opinion on here. At some point, guys, we have to, as fans, have a bit of an opinion that can be open-minded to the idea that we are fucking ruining our future by doing that bozo work now. 160, 170 million quid for Cody Gakpo and Savinho. What the fuck is going on? Kate, come in, talk to me. I hate it after a fucking monologue when I finish my rant and then there's just silence.
Because I wanted to come in and just drop the bombshell of I don't care, it's not my money, but I'm not going to because I heard you. I haven't listened to the whole show. I'm not going to lie, because we took the dogs.
We just started.
Hey,
right.
Surely the opportunity there was to leave. Just
just drop the mic. Look, I don't know. Look, I don't know what the answer is, Shawnee. I don't know if the market's gone crazy, and we're probably partly to blame for that with what we paid at the beginning of the window. So if you've said any of this, I apologise, because I know you said you've only just started, but I don't know what was said.
25 minutes. Yeah, 25 minutes.
And I agree that the ridiculous prices that being quoted are out of this off the charts. But then what do? Do you say, right, we're not paying it and we're not buying them? You know, and is it going to be a case of Premier League? Yeah, but is it going to be the case where we get to a situation where Premier League clubs can't deal with Premier League clubs because the prices are too ridiculous, and we literally have to then look at buying from Europe,
which is fine, by the way. Which is fine.
But there'll be a knock-on effect because Europe will think, oh, well, they're coming to us because we're cheaper. No, I ain't having that. And they'll put their prices up.
Yeah, and then the economics 101 is that having academies and developing players in-house becomes more efficient. Or maybe, you never know, maybe the football pyramid and the way that we used to get players by, I watched Les Ferdinand play for my non-league football club in the 1980s. And then he went from my non-league football club to QPR to Newcastle and eventually ended up at the greatest football club in the world at Tottenham Hotspur. And that used to be a very common thing. How often does it happen now? You can start naming them, right? You can start naming these players who've actually gone through that route. Semenyo is one, Vardy is another. And then you start having a problem naming them, right? Because, so, hey, Sully.
Man knows.
Sully, you weren't there as well, were you? At some point, economics will kick in and clubs will do what's most efficient. And it's the clubs that will...
Not if they're chasing their tail, though, Rain. And that's
where... Yeah, it's the clubs that are most capable of doing that. When you've got Chelsea, who have been constantly trying to dodge the system and have constantly been on the merry-go-round of we're going to make it work. And at some point, economics 101, if you don't do it properly, then the merry-go-round breaks down and then it's messy.
I hear you, but like this, Ian. No disrespect, Ian. Right? I've seen you a few times here, mate. You're a good guy. I know you're reasonable, but this is the problem, right? In the past, people would moan we didn't sum up the cash for a player. Now people are moaning we spend too much. What are we doing here? Two things can be true at the same time. You can go from the frying pan into the fire. You can go from being Daniel Levy, where he nitpicked and nickeled and dimed and wanted to win every fucking debate, and it took. Or negotiation, and it took the life out of the window, and you ended up getting a little bit. But Tottenham were relatively competitive for like 20 of the 25 years that he's been in charge, right? We were in the top four for the vast majority of the last 16 years. Last couple of years, massive drop-off, 100%, the culmination of a multitude of factors. At the same time, there is more money that is getting pumped in to the economy across the world by printing money to pay for wars, to pay for COVID, to pay for Russia, to pay for Ukraine, to pay for all that shit. It all filters its way, right? Money finds its level like water does, and it finds its ways into the places where things can be multiplied and magnified. I'm not trying to be an economist here, right? But this is an economics conversation just for the time being, where there are things that happen that end up with short-sightedness. And for me, like, we are being short-sighted if we are going to sit here and contemplate paying the best part of £200 million for Cody fucking Gakpo, who, by the way, like, I rate Cody Gakpo and I don't not rate Savinho. I know everyone who's been watching me for the last fucking 6 weeks knows exactly how I feel, and Kate feels, and Rain feels, because you guys have been on here. We've spoken about these players ad nauseum. But I'm not trying to take it into the credibility of the player, Mark. I'm just talking about the consequences. There are knock-on effects. The pendulum will swing in one way. It's swinging too far, and Tottenham are getting caught up right now with the ownership having to prove something to the fans, which the fans have demanded that they prove, which has now moved us into a world where we are going to get ourselves potentially in a sticky wicket in a year's time or 2 years' time, because the demands of the Tottenham fans will not stop. They will not contemplate, well, we spent 300 million. I know, by the way, I'm fully aware of the fact that right now our net spend is hit. I'm fully aware of it, and this is where we're going to come to the other side of the argument in a minute. But we have to take stock for a little bit as fans and say, I know it's not our money, we shouldn't care, but and even though it is our money and therefore we should care, because ultimately you'll be asked to pay more for season tickets, you'll be asked to pay more at the bar, you'll be asked to pay more for your burgers, you'll be asked to pay more for your Sky subscriptions and all that bollocks. But separate to that, what you do now, you can't do later. What you spend on one player, you can't spend on another. And because Tottenham have decided to give the full range and the full gamut, and again, I'm not trying to be, this is not a negative stance, by the way. I'm putting it out there as a conversation piece that we all need to chew over. And every opinion is valid. Every opinion's fine. I'm just sitting here saying, I don't know what the solution is, but I'm fucking worried about the idea that Manchester City are now looking at the prospect of saying, well, if you want Savinho, we need to get Neto. And if Chelsea want 120 million or whatever they're fucking asking for Pedro Neto, and that's their guy, because they are also of the Prem-proven mindset, maybe Tottenham do need to pivot towards somewhere outside of the Premier League. And the ridiculously concerning part about that is that there is a news story out today that Georgie Mikautadze, who's one of my favourite players in world football, I love him, still don't know where he fits into Tottenham's model, right? Because he's not exactly bigger, stronger, faster, but he is an unbelievable talent, and like the Georgian Robbie Keane, a little bit of magic like this, watatata. They want 80 million euros for Mikautadze. Atletico Madrid Villarreal won 80 million quid for Mikautadze. They bought him from Atletico Madrid for pittance, and Atletico Madrid got Christian Romero for 30 million pounds. Like, it also comes back, Kate, to this fucking narrative that maybe, just maybe, we are not that good at selling players and we are really fucking bad at buying them in terms of value attribution. Am I wrong, Kate?
It's a this tax, isn't it? It's a this tax.
It seems to be an ENIC tax, yeah, because bozos, right? Bozos are running the football club, whether it was Daniel Levy or whether it's these lot. I'm not on board the fucking pricing and the negotiation style. Didn't like the previous version, not a fan of this version.
I just think, don't you think it all kind of went a little bit mad and a little bit wrong when agents got so involved with it all? Because they're obviously trying to hold out for the largest fee so they get a percentage of the contract. When football agents weren't, I mean, I always hear Simon Jordan rant on about this on TalkSport, and I really like Simon Jordan. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I could listen to him for hours.
Yeah. Poor man, Sean Butler.
And far more attractive and wealthy.
What they say, better looking, but a poor man's version.
And richer.
And richer, more successful, more articulate, more eloquent, less of a cunt. Oh no, I just couldn't demonetize myself.
Oh no. End the stream.
End the stream.
End the stream. But yeah, I can't even remember what I was going to say now. You've thrown. Oh yeah,
Simon Jordan. Let's get back on it. Let's not lose track. Simon Jordan.
I think when Bale went to Real Madrid, that his agent earned more than Gareth Bale did in the transfer, and that's something. I know people don't want external legislation to come into football, but I think there's got to be something come in that sort of says agents can't have any more than like 5% or something of a transfer fee, and it's financial fair play maybe needs a bit more stringent. I've always said there should be a salary cap. Everyone says it's too late now. Is it? I don't know.
There is a salary cap. Squad cost ratios are a salary cap. Big up to the micro.
Well, they're not working very well, Shawnee.
Oh, it's only just come in this year. So.
Oh well, it might work then.
And
it's kind of been there for a few years. For European clubs, it's been there for a few years.
Maybe that's a good reason why the market's so dry, because everybody's looking at this and thinking, I don't know what to do with it. When there is over-regulation, what it actually does is it stops transactions in any model. So maybe that's what's happening. I personally think with all this FFP and all that kind of stuff, I don't think it's actually done what everybody wanted it to do. I think the only thing it's done is stop competition and stop new entrants into the market. It's not going to stop Chelsea collapsing if Blue Lake can't find a buyer in the next couple of years. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop that happening. And those
only because the consequences of them breaching the rules haven't been laid bare, right? Nottingham Forest and Everton twice got points deductions. Chelsea, don't even get me fucking started on Chelsea. That bozo Rory Jennings, right? I saw this fucking who are the biggest clubs in Europe short that was getting sent around from him on, and he puts Chelsea miles ahead of Tottenham. He even made, I think he's even tried to suggest that Chelsea were a bigger club in London, the biggest club in London ahead of Arsenal. I think he eventually conceded that Arsenal were ahead of them. I was like, mate, what are you basing it on? Fan base, Chelsea and nothing. History, like genuine long-term history. I remember when I was alive when Chelsea had a fucking car park behind their south stand. Okay, shut the fuck up. Thirdly, if you're baking it on trophies and you're talking about since the Abramovich era, let's just remember that you were the luckiest guy. This is where Kieran Maguire comes into play. And he was like, yeah, Chelsea and Man City got ahead of the curve with regards to the luxury of resources. At the same time as they had all that access that no one else had access to, they were cheating. They are official cheats. Their brand value has diminished to the point where they can't find a front of shirt sponsor because a lot of companies don't want to sponsor what is known as a cheat. They are the Lance Armstrong of football. How is Lance Armstrong now remembered for his success or remembered for cheating? Either way, whichever argument you want to take, you can remember his success or you remember his cheating, but either way, the apple sauce is tainted. That it's poisoned. It's a poisoned chalice. For me, Chelsea, the only argument that makes Chelsea a big club is because of their success, and their success came off the back of obscene individual unique wealth when at the same time they didn't need to cheat, but they cheated anyway. And yet people like that Rory fucking Jennings don't know. Wind me up. They're sitting there telling me and telling everybody that Chelsea are arguably one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League, in the football world, and that they're the biggest team in London. Shut the fuck up. It's a disgrace. I don't understand why that was even allowed to air. It's ignoring the actual reality of the situation. But the Pied Piper is calling. The chickens are coming home to roost, and I can't wait to see their demise. But you're absolutely right, Rain, that if they get bought out in the meantime, then all that will get whitewashed, and someone else will come in, another private equity version will come in and will maneuver their situation into a different world. But as it currently stands, the only reason why PSR, FFP, and SCR hasn't really hit those guys is because the punishments for the breaches of their rules are worse, are weaker, are less financially stringent than the money that they benefit, the money that they gain from the consequences of cheating in the first place. Like being allowed to cheat to get into the Champions League and then stay in the Champions League where you're going to make 100 million quid and only get hit with a 10 million pound fine. It's the equivalent of stealing a Ferrari. I see people in the chat. I see you in the chat getting wound up with me getting wound up. Okay, but I'm wound up. But it's the equivalent of stealing a Ferrari. And then if you get away with it, you get to keep the Ferrari. If you happen to get caught, well, all you got to do is pay for a litre of petrol for the Ferrari, but you get to keep the Ferrari anyway. What the fuck are we doing here? It's not the fact that SCR's not the problem. It's the actual enforcement of the punishments for the rule breakers.
And you do have to. I love Jimbo, Paul Lance Armstrong, the man only went to the moon, Sean. I love Jimbo.
He's such a bozo. That creeps me up.
You do have to wonder, right? So, Everton, Leicester. Oh, yes. Okay. Everton, Leicester, they were easy hits. Yeah, they were easy hits. Relatively minor breaches. You know, give them a little bit of a fine, a little bit of a... Some part of me does wonder, Sean, if the Man City and Chelsea charges are so egregious, right? They're so extreme that maybe in the Premier League boardroom, like in the boardroom in the Premier League, they're looking at it and they're thinking, my God, if we actually executed all of these, then the Premier League itself has got a major problem. Because
a problem, massive problem. It's got a huge problem, Rain.
So
it's not the Premier League that are enforcing these rules and these costs. It's UEFA.
Is it?
In terms of Chelsea, yeah.
Oh. But isn't Man City? It's the Premier League versus Man City.
The Premier League hasn't got round to the 115 charges. But what's that? 3 years now we've been waiting for this?
And some, isn't it? Feels like
3 years. It was November 2024. Or was it November 2025? I forget. It was November when they came out and said that they've had the whole thing. They've had the trial, whatever you want to call it, the court case, whatever. But it's all like, mum's the word. But like since then, the three, I think it's three, like, sports judges or whatever that have now have to go through all of the detail, the data. We're either 18 months or 2.5 years waiting for that thing. I'm not sure which year it was. Might have been 24, might have been 25. But either way, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And you know that they will point, even if Man City are found guilty and the book is thrown at them, they will point to the fact that Chelsea got away with murder, and Aston Villa did too, by the way. It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm coming upon the whore. It's not fair. It wasn't also fair that you cheated and got a slap on the wrist, bro. You got a slap on the wrist. The whole game is, the dice are loaded, right? The table is bent. It is not fair. And if you're someone like Ipswich or Coventry or Hull or Everton or Forest, as much as I despise Forest, I kind of feel for them in terms of the level playing field that we should be operating under, because there are the haves and the have-nots, and there is this idea of two-tier care in football. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm really angry today. I'm sorry. I didn't really come in with this energy, but you know what it is? I run out of cider. Actually, I've got one warm cider there, but I'm on the white wine, and the white wine seems me a little bit aggressive.
Look, I'll tell you where I stand, and people won't like it. I hate the rules. I think the rules are absolute. I don't think they're enforceable. If a rule isn't enforceable, then it's a rubbish rule. And I look at the rules were ostensibly put in. We're going to have to get off this at some point, but the rules were ostensibly put in to stop another Leeds, another Portsmouth, but they're not going to stop Leeds and Portsmouth. What happened there was loans by owners into the club, so that when the club went under, the owner themselves were protected because it was an arm's length relationship. The difference with Abramovich and Man City and the Etihad is that they invested capital. So if the club goes under, it is their money that they're losing. And do you know what? I don't have a problem with that. Ultimately, the best thing to do is to get 51% like they've got in Germany, and
well, that has its own set of problems, mate.
Well,
because then you get bozos like Kate and bozos like you, Rain, that are going to be having influence. Lubo, imagine Lubo having some sort of influence,
and he would be right there.
He'd figure out a way to get it done.
Archie Gray would be on 500 grand a week immediately.
Yeah. Listen, let me just take this pause for a second. There's 1,250 people here. Love to see it. Appreciate everyone for stopping by lunchtime, late afternoon. What time is it? It's 4:00. Late afternoon. There is some admin I need to do. Guys, don't forget, smash the like, right? So first and foremost, haven't asked, don't really ask very often, but please do hit the like. There should be at least 600 likes on the chat, because half of you can hit the like button. All of you can. All of you are watching from a place where you can hit the like button. The only excuse is if you're not logged into a Google account, which I'll give 50% of you the access to. The rest of you, smash the like. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already, right? Daily rants, daily spiels, daily news, views, and clues. We haven't even got into the transfer news, views, and clues yet, because I've got loads of them to get to. Notification button should be squeezed. Comments are coming thick and fast. We love to see it. We are also sponsored by OK Jersey. Code Sean10 at checkout gets you 10% off your latest and greatest in shirts. They're just about to launch, if they haven't already, the training clobber. Love to see it. The third gear with the weird little bow tie. Looks a bit like a kind of, I don't know what it is. It looks like someone who's doing, I don't know, some sort of topless waitering gig. It looks a little bit weird. It's one of those types. But if you like that thing, then get on board it. You can get them there. You can get your Jeremy Jacquet's, all your old school retro shirts as well. Make sure you go there, okjersey.com, code Sean10, gets you 10% off. We appreciate the support. Don't forget the Spurs Hub, by the way. The Spurs Hub has just launched the Last Man Standing game. And, of course, you've got the Premier League predictors. If you were around for the World Cup, you know how the World Cup had the predictions game. It was awesome. I came second by a point to a guy called Cali Spurs, who never said a word. He's never been in the chat. He rocked up. He won. He pissed off with the victory and the trophy. And I never got a chance to actually say congratulations or anything else. But he beat me by a point. But the Premier League predictor is now open. There is also private and public leagues for you and your mates. So sign up to the game and you can obviously just participate every single week. You pick your predictions from 10 games. You pick a star man every single week. Basically, someone who gets an assist, you get an extra point. Someone who gets a goal, you get 3 points. You only pick the player once. It's awesome fun. Separate to that, there's something called Last Man Standing, which is essentially where you pick a team that doesn't lose. Once you pick that team, you can't pick them again, but your whole purpose is to get through to the next round. So if a team draws or wins, you go through, but you can't pick. Say you pick Arsenal for this weekend because they're playing Coventry. Not a bad shout. It might if you're playing. If they lose, you're out. If they win or draw, you get through. Prizes available as well, and points and all that sort of thing. All that stuff is on Spurs Hub, alongside the best data tool in the game, and of course, all of your way to find new content creators. I've been inundated with content creators that have reached out to me, showing me their analytics, saying that the vast majority of their traffic is coming from the Spurs Hub. So you don't know who these people are yet, but they are awesome. And you can find them on the Spurs Hub, because if you wait for the algorithm to show them to you, you're going to be waiting for a long time. You haven't got to do that on the Spurs Hub. Go find them. And lastly, I'll do it a little bit later on, is Oxford Natural. Rain, just super quick. You've been on the Oxford Natural, haven't you? You started. You enjoying it?
I'm loving it, mate.
Yeah?
Honestly, I remember when I came on, like I got it in the morning, and I came on and I sort of did this, and I remember there was somebody in chat, and they said, "A fool and their money are easily parted," and I was like, "Okay, mate." I was like, "Okay, whatever." But I've now been taking. So you take a couple in the morning. It's packed full of it's all explained on the bottle, and you take a couple in the morning. You take a couple before bed, and everything you said is true. I am.
Sharper.
I'm feeling better. I'm not snacking at all. In fact, it's got to the point where, like, I had my salad for lunch, and at dinner I'm eating with my food shoot over here. My teenager who just breathes
He's
food.
finishing your dinner plate, yeah? He's finishing
just
your
like
dinner plate.
whoosh like this.
Yeah,
And like the last few days, I haven't been able to finish what I'm eating, and I feel great. I feel absolutely fantastic.
Amazing, mate. Amazing
So
to see.
I'm loving it. I'm a massive convert.
I appreciate that, mate. There you go. I haven't paid Rain for that at all. But I'll drop the video a little bit later on in the show.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get you to reach out
Damn
to
it, I've done it now. Damn it.
Big up to everyone. So I'll drop the video a little bit later on in the stream. Let's get on to the actual news from today then. So Kate, Savinho, let's start with that one. I know we've sort of covered it a little bit, but Savinho, £85 million minimum is what Manchester City want, apparently, right now. Anyone that's still talking about the 65 bar rule plus add-ons feels like you're a little bit out of date, because everywhere today, Man City aggregators, Man City tweet, the equivalent of the cities in the Man City space, are saying 85 million minimum. Tottenham are still desperately trying to do it. It's no problem on the player side, but Man City are changing their mind. And I watched, as I say, I watched LB earlier put up a video, and I don't know if you saw it, Kate, but they're getting angry. They are getting really fucking angry, and they're all sort of talking about there's a good player there, but the market's the market, and so they're thinking 100 million. 90 million. I know these are fans' conversations, but in the zeitgeist, they're talking 85 million pound minimum. What are we doing now, Kate? What are we doing here?
I mean, I wouldn't have paid 70 for him, but that's just me. I watched Terry. I haven't seen LB. I do normally watch LB. I'll have a look. But I watched Terry Flewers talking about the price of Gakpo and Savinho, basically saying, this is ridiculous. They're 40, 50 million pound players max.
Right.
Why are we even talking about it? And more to the point, why are Tottenham even considering it if it's true? I'm always one of these people. I go, I don't care. It's not my money. And I still think Tonali to us is worth 100 million. I stand by that.
Well, it's looking more like it is, right? Because the market's gone.
Yeah, and I think you pay for what a player's worth to you, but I don't even think a player like Savinho is worth anywhere near that to us, because we've already got Tel. And if we are going to get competition for Tel, why does it have to be Premier League? I still don't believe that this Savinho thing is driven by De Zerbi, because it was a year ago that we started looking at him when there was no mention of De Zerbi coming into the club. I think this is completely a club-driven signing. Maybe they don't want to back down. You know, Levy was always the one accused of never backing down and wanting to win a deal, but he would never have considered paying this. And yes, it would work the other way. Wouldn't have paid that sort of money either for Tonali and Fernandes. But for me, they should have walked away 2 weeks ago. It's ridiculous. They are taking us absolutely for mugs, really, and we're absolutely letting them do it.
What do we do instead, though? Because I completely hear people. Because the other side of the argument, right, Kate, and I'll come to you in a second, Rain. The other side of the argument, Kate, is this, right? That like it might sound like a lot, but actually, and this number's probably not fully recognised. It says we're £79 million. This is from this morning, but you know that there's money coming in for people like Radu Dragusin that's not reflected in this. That's probably reflected in. Or not reflected fully, sorry, in Lancashire or in Ash Phillips, like that. So that number comes down to about 55 or something like that. If those guys do the things that you expect them to do, which they probably will, and then there's probably also some money. I don't like the whole Vicario thing. I think the whole thing's a joke. But so on the one hand, you can sit there and kind of go, it's too much to pay for Savinho. We've got a fourth man coming in to join us. Great to see this man, by the way. Great to see you. How you doing, Johnny boy?
Hey mate, you right? You good?
Yeah, good, mate. I'll come round to you after Rain and after Kate. We'll get to see how you're doing. Great to see your face, though, mate. Love to see you. But Kate, like, so on the one hand, you can sit there and go, like, okay, it's not our money thing. Park that to one side. We haven't really spent that much money. Is a bigger thing, and so you can justify 100 million quid or whatever for. For Savinho, if that's what you want to do, and 100, if they're the two most likely, 100 million for just simplify it, 100 million and like 180 million quid for those two. If that's what De Zerbi really wants, then you end up with a net spend of 230 million. The problem is that next year you don't have any talented kids that you can sell like you've sold this year, so you can't chip away at the problems of the overspend next year like you can now. And football isn't in isolation. One season it's not all about this year. It's about next year and the year after that and everything else. So before we look at like alternatives, when you look at the fact that Spurs technically are about 60 million quid net spend, does that soften the blow of having to pay ridiculous money for Savinho and ridiculous money for Gakpo, even if you can actually get them? And right now, neither of those two teams have found their replacements. So they might refuse to pay whatever they're being asked to pay. And then therefore they don't sell those guys.
No, don't soften the blow with me, because I don't think Savinho takes us up a level. You know, if we were arguing about paying that sort of money for a Julian Alvarez or something, you know, and saying, you know, we've only spent this, but if we do that, I'd say, well, yeah, because they elevate us to another level. But I can't even see how much Savinho makes us better, if I'm perfectly honest. Gakpo I like, but I don't like him £100 million worth. But it's like I said, I don't know what else you do. If you've got, like you say, Mikautadze now, 80 million. The market is just crazy. At some point, someone's got to say no.
You could go and get Johnny's boy, El Marla, right?
Yeah.
They want 50 million quid for him, 50 million euros for him.
I'll tell you all day long.
Dortmund said no to 50. Even if when you put your head above the parapet and go, oh, I hear you want 50 million for Dortmund. Yeah, yes, but who is asking? It's Tottenham. Not for you. It must be a 60 at least. Okay, at this point, do you roll the dice? Look at how good Solis has done.
Yeah.
Is he not the rationale to go, okay, fuck that whole Prem proven thing, because Solis has gone and got, what is it, like five GA in like 3 games in pre-season and a couple of assists in the Community Shield?
I can't believe they were the only ones who went in for Solis.
The thing is, you've got a spine now, a strong spine at Spurs that are made from Prem-proven players. So I think we're able to go out and get an El Marla without it being too much of a risk. If you want to know the truth, I really like him. I've looked into him after I first heard you and Johnny talking about him, and I think this guy looks like an absolute baller. But again, I don't know whether it's true that De Zerbi only wants Prem-proven players. None of us know, do we? None of us really know what's going on. Go on, Ray.
Right, Rain, your hands up. You all right?
It sounds like January. That sounds like January to me. That sounds like Johan Lang after the January window.
It feels like January right now, though, Rain. Everyone's fucking Mexican standing off. Like, hey, no, you shoot. No, I shoot. We all shoot together.
Why are these Mexicans Chinese, Sean? What's going on?
Hey!
Sorry, Ray.
It's. I've been right. So my little phrase that I've been trotting out for people: perfect is the enemy of good, right? Yeah. And this idea that we can only get the perfect player, right, is going to lead you to failure. The best thing we should have done is get the best player available for the positions that we've got. That's what we should have done, rather than get hyper fixated. It feels like they've got hyper fixated on particular players, and it's leading us to either A, overpay, or B, in worst case, Man City go, they put their hand out and right at the end they go, no, there we go, no, psych. It's going to be one of the two. We're going to have to either pay. We're going to have to either overpay, or Man City are going to go, good luck with your one left winger this season. And we shouldn't have left ourselves in this position. And let's come back. I'm going to say it again. It's exactly what they did in January. Johan Lang. We listen to words. Johan Lang, after in that famous February interview, said we didn't get anybody because there wasn't the exact player that we wanted, and that very, very nearly.
Look what could have happened as a consequence of. I hear what you're saying, Rain, about perfect being the enemy of better or good. I 100% agree with you, because if you take that approach to this summer, they're going to kick the can into January. John, bring you in here. Great to see you, mate. Great to see you, man. I haven't seen you for ages. Like you're fucking. Every time I see your face, I just got like, hey, Johnny boy. The problem is if you kick the can to January, you know that January is 10 times more difficult than the summer. And this summer, I had intentions. We're now into a full panel show. I thought it was going to be just me, so I had intention of doing a stack rank. Like a tier maker thing of like looking at everybody's transfer window thus far. I might do that later on this evening instead. But like you could make an argument that Tottenham have probably had the best window, of all the Premier League clubs. Yet we are all Tottenham fans panicking because we've left a lot to do. But if you kick the can until January, it doesn't get any easier in January. It gets twice as hard, because that whole thing, that Mexican standoff thing, just starts from January the 1st, and you got 2 days at the end when people start to loosen up. What's your situation on the whole Savinho and Gakpo story, mate? Because both of these prices are just insane.
I'm on board with what a lot of people are saying. What's the plan B? Maybe there is a plan B, and they're just keeping it top secret. But it does seem to worry me. We're so obsessed with Savinho. Now, I think he is a good player. But in my opinion, is he worth 85 million? Or even over 70 million? No, he's not. But if De Zerbi really wants him, and he thinks he can make him a better player and top draw, then maybe he is worth the money. But he's shown us very little so far to say that he is worth that. What I find surprising also is that he's not in Man City's plans first team wise. Obviously, Pep was happy to let him go last season, and we all know when Pep said someone can go because they want to go, he writes them off. And that's pretty much what he did. It was only because the Manchester City director said, no, we're keeping him, that he didn't move to us last summer. I mean, there's clearly a talented player there, but he's nowhere near I mean, as
Let
Ranger said,
me
the
ask
perfect
this,
player.
John.
He's
Let
not
me
top
ask you
drawer,
this,
is
right?
he?
Listen, I'm not even parking this as like people know how I feel about Mathys Tel, right? You guys will know how I feel. No, but just on like a reasonable person's take, is Savinho levels above Mathys Tel? Is he? And if so, based on what? I personally look at it, and I'm not even parking. I'm parking my own like predisposition to die on the hill that he shouldn't get the slagging off that he gets all the time. But I'm genuinely looking at that, going, if it's £85 million or somewhere in that ballpark, you're talking about twice the player that Mathys Tel was 18 months ago. And everybody has been furious about the price that we paid for Mathys Tel 18 months ago. And I'm asking the question around, like, if Savinho comes, even for his own benefit, because I feel like Mathys Tel has this, there's a part of the fan base that have this like this like unreasonable disdain towards him that you don't see generally, and he hasn't done anything to deserve it, other than maybe the only justification is that he came in on an £8 million loan and a £30 million transfer fee, £38 million. If Savinho comes in at £85 million, the requirement from him to appease the same type of fan that holds unreasonable standards for Mathys Tel surely is twice as good, right? At least twice as good, John. And that is, again, I'm not advocating that that's the way that we should do it, but if you're going to hold that sort of, if you're going to hold people to the cost that they didn't ask anyone to pay to deliver the output, it's not the Ferrari's problem if the buyer bought it for 200 grand versus 100 grand, right? The car is the car, but people hold the expectations based on the value. Is Savinho going to walk into a thunderous expectation level that is unreasonable? Because we all know he is not yet that player at that price point.
It's a tough one. I mean, there's a couple of comments saying, why are we worried about what players are costing? Which is about, I do take your point.
We went through that in the first 20 minutes of the show. Like, we've pretty much cleared that up.
Okay. People do, if a player isn't good, they use the cost of them to sort of back up their argument, don't they? And that's just a mental thing from our point of view, from Spurs fans. I did see some in the comments, I can't find it now, about 5 minutes ago, saying they'd put Tel and Savinho in the Spurs hub and they were virtually identical. I'm guessing you've done this already, Sean, have you?
Yeah, I'll do it again. As you're talking.
I just think Savinho, the advantage of him, he can play left or right. We've not really seen Tel on the right. I know he put a nice cross in at Villa last year for Richalison to score. Tel can play up front, but he's not convinced any of us in either position so far. I think he's getting better, but I think Savinho can beat players. I'm not sure he's physically as strong. Will he score the goals? No, but whichever wingers we have need to be scoring goals for us, because it's without Kulusevski, we've lost that, and obviously Son, we've lost wide men giving us 10, 15 goals a season. And without a top striker, we haven't had for when did Kane leave? 3 years ago? We haven't got a top striker also giving us goals. So those wide position players need to be scoring probably the left-hand side and the right side need to be providing 15 goals each per season, whether that's split between Kulusevski or Savinho on the right and Tel when Odegaard comes back, or with Maddison if he plays left on the left-hand side.
Yeah, look, they are literally indecipherable in so many of the same characteristics.
Is
the
there
things
any
that they're bad at, they're both bad at. The things that they're good at, they're both good at. There's micro outperformance in certain areas, but like on a 20 character polygram, whatever you want to call that, they excel in the same areas. The only thing that's different, I guess, is Savio has a better shots on target percentage last season, but that's based on a per 90. Just quickly, I know Rain, you wanted to come in there. If I change that to per season, then Mathys Tel outperforms, right? It's like, but they're very, very similar players. Very similar in terms of statistically.
Can we add Zolis?
I don't have the Belgium league in this data set, so you'd only be looking at him in the Champions League, which is
for me, right? So people are comparing pricing here to the fact that we've paid for Tonali and the fact we paid for Fernandes. But there's a good reason why we paid that money. Firstly, we had competition. Right? I've got Man United mates who are gutted that they didn't get Fernandes, who can't believe that they didn't get Fernandes. And quite clearly, Tonali was wanted. And also, at the start of the transfer window, Man City paid 116 for Anderson. That looked like reasonable prices. But I'm now looking at winger prices, and they're not at 85 million. The winger prices appear to be around 40 to 50 million. That's what Arsenal paid for Zolis. So I don't.
Would you rather right now go and get someone? I know Abdi was my pick of the summer from Real Betis, but he's injured, right? He hurt his knee at the World Cup but he won't be long. He's not out for a long time. But that guy for me is not going to cost you. He's going to cost you a third of what Savinho would, or Johnny's man. El Marla. Johnny and I both spoke about El Marla a year ago. Johnny decided that he's going to die on the hill that El Marla's the guy. I think that El Marla's got a huge amount of potential, a huge amount of talent. But if El Marla costs you 50 million euros, 40 million quid, and Savinho costs you twice that, then you have to think, is the value of Savinho twice that of El Marla? And for me, the answer is no. So I would be more inclined to go and do that. I'm not even as big a fan of El Marla as Johnny is, but I would be more inclined to do that. There's other people out there as well, outside of those particular two types of names. There's players all over the park that you could go and get that aren't going to cost you this ridiculous sum of money. I know no one cares about the fucking money until the money dries up. And then all of a sudden, where's the fucking money gone? Well, you know what? The money was spent on the guy that you demanded that we go and spend 4 times more than what he's worth on last season. But that will be the conversation in a year's time. People in this chat that are going, it's not our money. Who gives a fuck? Pay the money. You don't care about it now because you think we have the money. But next summer, we won't have the money if we spend all the money now.
Next summer is a barrier to us getting rid of this bozo because he hasn't turned out
100%.
Good enough.
Because Savinho cost Manchester City 20 fucking million quid. Right? I know that they bought him from their sister club, but in 2 years, has he done anything to justify a 400% a 200% 4 times fucking improvement in his value? What are we doing here?
At the start of the transfer window, before it looked like we were going to actually go and spend money, I was saying that we should go and get Sade, and I was laughed out of streams. I was told he's rubbish, he's average, and I was like, look, we just need numbers, and I've seen this guy, he looks decent, and his numbers are great. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And and I said the same about Semenyo last summer. And again, it's just because I liked what I saw, and his numbers were always good. I think people have a slightly different. But it is But okay. So Sade is Johnson 2.0. Somebody just said. Do you know what? We need it. He may well be. I think he's better. But
what about Rafael Leao?
Well, exactly. It doesn't matter. Right now, we need bodies. I'm at the point where we just need bodies, right? We can't go into the season with Luca Williams-Barnett as our second string left winger. We can't. Yeah, we can't take that risk. We're not. We finished 17th twice, right? We can't take that risk. So they've just got to just get a deal done. And do you know what? If that means they go and get Leao and then Savinho becomes unlocked and they get Savinho as well, fine.
Before I bring in John and Kate on this one, there's I was skipping through all of the jewels. Let me get through some of these super chats that are here. Big up to Pete the Sparky, who says, "Tell us shit." Couldn't be
never
more
change,
wrong,
Pete.
Grumpy. Couldn't be more wrong, Grumpy, but never changed, bro. Never changed. Appreciate you, mate. Hope you're enjoying the ride home. Pete, Tom, or Etty Tom. He hasn't said much, but he's put in a super sticker. Big up to you, mate. Choo to you. Appreciate you. Damon Milner has put in 1,000 jewels. Big up to you, Damon. Very cool of you, man. Appreciate you very much indeed. Appreciate you, buddy. THF's Dermatron has said, really looking forward to this season. Can't wait to have Spurs back. Big up, Sean. Hope you're well. Rain Man. Big up to you, Dermatron. Big up to you, buddy. Hope you're well. What'd you say?
I'm telling Dermot, give me a call.
Call him. Call him, bro. Call him. Big up to you, Rain. Dermatron. Big up to you. Big up to you. Andy Bays says, big up, Sean. I'm not panicking yet. I'm not panicking. I'm getting concerned by the lack of links elsewhere, is what I'm saying, because I think that there's plenty of players out there that Tottenham can look at. And if you're listening, Tottenham, if you're watching this, get your man, Mr. Langer, to have a cheeky little glance at the Spurs hub. Okay, it's probably a lot cheaper than whatever you pay for, and it's just as good, bro. It's just as good. You can do a lot of damage with the Spurs hub. A user 4872 says we ain't signing squat. Liverpool and City are playing us. It's starting to feel that way, mate. It's starting to feel that way. Big up to you, mate. Hope you're okay. What else we got? Kernwood
Yeah.
Says towards the Magnums. Great show as per usual. Appreciate you, mate. I'm off the Magnums, but I'm actually quite enjoying the white wine, to be honest. I didn't know. Wasn't a fair fan. I didn't know what I was doing with it, but it's actually going down quite nicely. Big up to you. Thank you very much indeed. Very generous, my man. Peter Stylianu is putting in the super chats. Big up to you, Peter. Appreciate you, my man. Big up to you, buddy. Thank you very much for the 1,000 jewels. Very nice of you. Lee Higgins has put in a 150 jewels. Big up to you, my man. And then Blaine Devlin, our most generous guy in the world, he says, one take that I don't think we have discussed is Savio ain't got other suitors. Tonali and Fernandes, we outbid other clubs to get them. If the real cost is 85 million, even I'll admit we should walk away. Mad cost. Big up, folks. Yeah, I don't know if it's the real cost. I'm just basing this on what's all over the zeitgeist today, and it's all over City news, all over Tottenham news. Listen, you know what I think of him? I think he's a £50 million player. I think 60 million, given the inflation in the markets, is where I'd be okay with it. And I like the fact that he wants to be a Tottenham player and he's doing everything he can. Big up to you, Blaine. But yeah, at 85 million, it's just absolutely mental. And I can't understand that Tottenham are actually contemplating fulfilling these answers. John, let me ask you, before we move away from Gakpo and Savinho, we've spoken a lot about Savinho. We know where we are with him. With Cody Gakpo specifically, I know we've spoken about this before, Rain and Kate. John, I haven't heard your argument on this. He's a big guy, right? He's 6'3", 6'4", right? He's probably not a 9. I don't like the idea really of him coming in and playing left wing if it means that we're crowded on the left and nothing else on the right nor the centre. The idea of asking him to play a 9 is different. It's the same as the Krupi argument. You know, everyone wanted to pay 100 million quid or whatever it would take to get Krupi in because he could be our 9, but the geezer had played 500 minutes in his life as a 9. Going from a false 9 to a 9 is a big step. Going from a left wing to a 9 is a huge step. Is Cody Gakpo at any price point, 60, 70, 80, whatever it's going to cost, are you okay with him coming in and playing as a 9? Or do you expect him, if we were to get him, to come in and play on the left wing? And if so, what does that do for our creativity off the wing? Because he's not someone that takes people on like that.
I think there's a number of ways you got to look at this. Does he improve the squad? Yes, I'd say he does. Is he top number 9 we can get? I mean, there's not a lot of number 9s around. Am I convinced he's the man for number 9? No, I'm not. But I mean, to go back to our old friend Eugene, yes, he is. He's playing the Premier League. He knows what it's all about. He'll be comfortable. He can move along. He can do a job on the left, do a job up front. Is it underwhelming? Yeah, I think it is. But it goes back to, where's our plan B? It just seems we've got him and Savinho, and that's all we're doing. Is it because the club have done a brilliant job of locking things down now? When Paratici was there, obviously there was leaks galore because he would ring up Romano or his other mates in Italy and tell them what he wanted to tell them. Now, some of it was complete bull, wasn't it? Is it really because, Langer's got no friends and so nothing's coming out of the club? It could be as simple
Maybe.
as that.
You're right. Yeah, it's a fair point that maybe he's locking things down. But you would imagine by now, we are what? We are 5 days away, 4 days away, 5 days away from the start of the window.
Shawnee, have you seen that Doku's injured now as well? It could be out for several weeks, so they ain't going to let Savio go if Doku's injured.
Is that true? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
true?
In the comments.
Yeah, and I heard Mamouche took a knock.
It's shared. It's in the Spurs Talk Show group. It's been shared.
But yesterday you shared something from the great guy Connor.
No, Connor.
Gillian.
Yeah, I was going to say this has been shared.
Don't trust the accountant.
It's been shared by Danny Kiriakou, so you know.
Is
he better than Connor?
Take it with a pinch of Greek salt. You know, 6 weeks salt, whatever he is.
Aye.
He said he's definitely out for their first game, but could be out for several weeks. It happened in the Charity Shield, apparently, or whatever you call it these days. Community Shield, is it?
So Jeremy Doku sustained a calf injury versus Arsenal in the Community Shield, and this is from City Extra, and will miss City's opening Premier League match. The winger could be sidelined for several weeks, and there is concern within City that the injury is not an isolated. Okay, you know what? It's time to move on.
Correct.
It's time to move on. Is it not? It's got to be time to move on. City are going to fucking ruin our window if we continue to. We are acting. Johan Lang is acting because I personally do not believe for a second that when De Zerbi said all of our transfer targets were decided in March, right? Because he had nothing to do with Tottenham last year, and yet Johan Lang's obviously come in and said, "I've got a fucking hard on for Savinho. I've got a hard on for him. I've got to get it done. And so De Zerbi might have gone, all right, fuck it. Okay, fine. I rate the player too. Go for it. But we are on the precipice here of Johan Lang destroying our window once again by putting all of his eggs into a singular basket. And that basket just got a lot more difficult to steal, right? Because they were already overpricing him. And now they've lost Doku. There's no chance that they're going to let him go now. There's no chance. At this stage, fucking Johan Lang. Bro, pivot! Fucking pivot, you donut. What else do you have in your fucking locker? You Danish pastry bozo. You're winding me up. I'm going red. I can see the blood in my head. It's winding me up. Pivot. You're not paying 100 million quid for this. He's average anyway. What are we doing? Help me out here. John, help me out here. No, fucking help me out. Don't laugh at me. You're winding me up.
I just want to play that clip of Friends where they're going, pivot.
Yeah.
I think going back to City, briefly about Doku. If they were really going to sell Savinho, and he's only out for 3 or 4 weeks, I don't think that would stop them selling him. But they might use that to try and drive the price up. Now, the price is pretty bloody high as it is anyway. But he's not been a first teamer, has he, last season? And I don't think, obviously, he was ill on Sunday, which I don't think he was. Ill. Yeah. I think
they're not going to let him go. They're not going to let him go. Are they really? Are they going to let him go?
They're not interested in selling Savio to us. Otherwise, the deal would have been done.
Yeah. Agreed.
Fair point.
If they had any interest. And the other thing, John, is that, you know, again, I'm standing in the middle of the road and I'm getting flack from both sides. The other thing that I hear a lot of is we shouldn't keep players who are unhappy, and Savinho is unhappy, therefore Man City are going to let him go. And that doesn't seem, that doesn't seem to be working because, like, we got the Spence deal done. How long did the Spence deal take? 3 days? We heard about it and it was done within like 2 or 3 days, right?
He had been linked with them for a while, though, hadn't he? I think there had been tenuous links. But yeah, if you want to get something done quickly, there are times you can do it. Going back to the players aren't happy, I've been having this argument with someone in a WhatsApp group. You know, it's down to the manager. That's the De Zerbi thing. It was a Poch thing. It was a Pep thing. If they don't want them, if they think they're not happy, they'd rather not have them around. Now, that's a really big, strong decision by a manager to say, get rid of them. I don't care if they're my main man. Now, if De Zerbi had Harry Kane, when he wanted to go to City, do you think he probably wouldn't have said, yes, you can go, would he? So it is player dependent to a certain degree, I think.
Yeah. Listen, people have put some options in the chat there. Right now, I don't know why no one wants Rafael Leão, but I'm thinking you take the you take the punt on him, or you take the punt on El Marla. Maybe you take it on Abdi, and then you go again in January, or you go again next year. Like, this year is not going to define Tottenham. You need to give him enough. You need to give De Zerbi enough to get into the Champions League, and you need to respect the fact that, you know, you're not going to go from 17th to catching Arsenal. Okay, so you need to give him enough to be able to compete with Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and Newcastle, and Villa, and Manchester United. And you can do that without breaking the bank and essentially destroying Tottenham's ability to kind of add a little bit more next summer. If Savinho is 85 million before that news, and that news now changes things again, Johan fucking Lang, you better have the ability to get off that fucking hill that you're on and pivot somewhere else. Because, like John said, Paratici used to spin plates, right? He used to spin plates. He used to have option B, C, and D. He'd go and negotiate. Bacharina, what's your name? Nikola Ozanic. Love that name. You sound Croatian. I might be offending you by saying that, but I don't mind. I'll take the risk. But I love the fact that you said Bacharina. What a player he is. What a player he is. Did you see what he did a couple of days ago in the preseason friendly? Aratata.
Yeah.
Right, or Conceição. Which Conceição are you talking about? Juventus's Conceição? What a player he is. He still at Juve? What a player he is. What a player. Mitoma. Well, listen.
He's on a downward trend.
He's on the downward for sure. But Rafael Leão, why point null?
Well, I mean, again, at the start of the season, at the start of the window, I was saying Sade. That was because I thought we just need to get somebody in who's going to get, money boys. Somebody who's going to get us some goals. And then we spent money, and I thought, oh, okay. And then I started, Sean, saying Yildiz, and people were like, we're never getting Yildiz. Well, if we're getting to the point where we're going to spend 85, 90 million on Savinho,
then you might as well just go and do that next.
Don't spend 110 on Yildiz.
Yeah, but are Juve looking at that market and going, well, if Savinho's 85, 90, then Yildiz is 145, 50. and is PSG looking at it going, well, if that's the game, then if Gakpo's going to go for 100, then Berghvall is only going to go
200 million.
And no, that's where we're at, though. That is where we're at, right? We're joking about it, but that is where we're at. It's not like we are the only people that are watching fucking football. If that's the game, that's the game. And on that basis, Kate, for what it's worth to you, you all right? Is Archie okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's asleep.
Okay. If that's the case, then listen, if it turns out that by the end of the window, you're looking at players that are going, that should be going for 60, that are going for 100, then you could make an argument that Tonali is cheap at 85, 90 million pound, 100 million euros. And I will reflect on that at the end of the window. As it stands right now, Tottenham are responsible for fucking creating the catalyst, the amplification of ridiculousness within the footballing world, right? It's madness. But by the way, what's his name? Rodri going for 60 million quid to Barcelona, or 60 million euros to Barcelona. I know he's 30, but he's still got 40. He's a 6. He's not doing the legwork of a winger. I'm super terrified of where this is going. But I genuinely do feel like not only are Tottenham going to start the first game on Saturday with Micky Moore as a right winger and Mathys Tel as a left winger and Richalison as left winger as a striker, I'm equally terrified by the prospect that, from what I've seen, half of content creators seem to be willing to sell Richalison right now to Everton for 15 million quid. Can we just pivot to that for a second, guys? Like, I understand that no one really wants Richarlison at Tottenham, but he's our only fucking striker right now. I'm not making this pitch to authority based on that I rate him. I'm making the pitch based on scarcity value. We don't have any available strikers. If we sold him today, we wouldn't have any available strikers for the Brentford game. And on what basis do we think we can go and get someone better for anything? Like it would cost 10 times what you're going to get from Richalison. In this market, Richalison with 1 year left and a year option that we can extend, is he not probably worth 50 million quid? I know he's not, but I'm saying in this market, like, are we genuinely considering selling him for £15 million?
Everyone knows how I feel about Richarlison because I spend nothing but slagging him off. But if Everton come,
I'm with you.
If Everton come with 30 million right now, I'm not selling him because we're in a position where we can't sell him because we've got nobody else there. Plus, he does know where the net is, and Solanke has been absolutely dog shit, and now he looks like he's injured again because he can't stay fit. I mean, look, it's hard because I try and sit on the. I look at where we are and I think, if someone had told me at the end of the season the players we would have bought, I would have laughed at them and said, this is ridiculous. This is never going to happen. But at the same time, I'm not panicking, not by any stretch of the imagination. But
you're not panicking?
No, not yet, no. Because I think things are in the works. I do think things are in the works.
Why aren't you panicking?
Kate is cucumber cool.
I am.
No, you can pretend like you are, but I'm going to need to understand why you feel that way. Kate, you're not panicking, but yet the only players that we are linked to every single day, which makes it difficult for us to come out and talk about new information, is Cody Gakpo and Savinho, both of whom we are either going to have to pay double what they're actually worth or walk away with no discernible alternative in the market for any of these fucking bozos, and you're saying you're cool as a cucumber. Explain that to me, Kate.
The reason I feel I'm cool as a cucumber is I think they could be keeping their cards close to their chest, which they probably are, right? And Rain can laugh at me and whatever, and that's fine.
No,
and B,
in my head, it was what followed that was it's just who I am. It's just who I am. That was it.
I am actually the
least. Cucumber is just who I am.
Jimbo will tell you I'm the least calm person on the planet. I worry about everything, but I'm not worried because I do not believe that we will go in. Maybe we will on Saturday because it's only a few days away. I do not believe we've made the investment that we have into the squad without having a contingency plan for the front three, whether that be I don't believe. I mean, if this comes back and bites me on the arse, I'll be doing a video absolutely slating Johan Lang because I don't like him. I don't like Vinay either, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they must have something in place because they've moved differently this window. For the people that are sitting there going, nothing's changed, everything's exactly the same, nothing's changed, it's just the same. It's not the same. It isn't the same because we've paid our record transfer fee twice. We've smashed our wage structure. We've never done that before. We got deals done early. We've never even done that before.
So, we haven't fixed the hardest part of the fucking market to fix. We've left it late again. Listen, I'm not, Kate, I know you and Jimbo are on this, like, you got to stay positive train.
No, I'm not.
You know me generally, Kate, that I can't stand content creators that want to lean towards the losing lottery numbers, okay? So when things are like where they are, generally speaking, I'm like, oh, you guys just want to, you can't wait for the chance to say you're right, therefore you're going to predict that we are going to underperform. I can't stand that. This particular moment, though, I don't think I don't think anybody that is starting to panic a little bit are people that just want to be negative. I think that there's legitimate concern around how the fuck it is we're going to finish this window with the prices that are being asked, the driest market in the world. It is a Mexican standoff, however you want to think of it. It's January windows settings in August, and there's no talent Well, in the wingers, there's plenty of talent, but in the 9 market, there's a ridiculous dry market out there. And I feel like Tottenham Hotspur are being led in this pursuit by Johan Lang, who I haven't found a single Tottenham fan who actually says, no, I trust in Johan. They might suddenly be buying into like ENIC 2.0, like Lubo, who spent the last 5 years of me knowing him, criticising ENIC, and then suddenly he's now like their biggest supporter, which is weird. Diagnose that one. But the reality is that it's Johan Lang that's identifying these players, and I don't think he's got plan B or plan C or plan D, just like he didn't in January. And he's like, there's no one better. Bro, open your fucking eyes. There's plenty better you could have gone and got, and you didn't.
Kate,
You know?
can I explain?
We actually give him the credit. Are we giving Johan Lang the credit of having plan B here?
No, but can we also not say, sorry, Rang, sorry to cut in, but can we also not say, like, when we bought in Tonali, when we bought in Fernandes, I remember sitting on this show, we was all buzzing, and we were like, this is nothing to do with Lang. This is De Zerbi. He's done this. This is De Zerbi effect. So when things are going shit, you can't just turn around and go, this is Lang. Because this is what they used to do with Levy.
Well, it's De Zerbi as well, mate. I'm not fucking letting...
Okay.
You're not... Don't
Can I
blame me, Kate, with those bozos that did that. I wasn't me, girl. Go on, mate. I'll let you come in.
Can I? Because I'm standing in the middle of the road, and I've got people over here who are like, look, they've spent money, they're clearly different, and I've got people over here. It's the same ENIC. They're not willing to go the extra mile. I am smack bang in the middle of the road, Kate, I think the reason I think you're wrong is not because of ENIC. I've been trying to steer away. People have been trying to get me to have ENIC arguments, and I'm just not interested. Because actually, I don't think it's their fault. I think that nobody is selling players, and you cannot buy a player unless somebody else wants to sell. So no matter how much we think they have changed, no matter how much we think they are going to spend money, if we go for Savinho and Man City don't want to sell him, then we can't buy him, right? It doesn't matter. That's the problem. The problem is no one is selling us players, and that's what I'm concerned about. And it's that dry market, and everyone's looking at the dry market. That if I was, say, at Brentford now, yeah, and we went to Brentford and we went, look, here's 70 million for Sade, just as an example, right? They're going to go, can we replace him? No. Therefore, I'm not going to sell him. And that's it. That's the problem. The problem is not Tottenham. The problem is we don't have control over everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to shoot.
Yeah, go on, John.
G'day, John.
You got something? You got a final thought? Oh, he's already fucked off. Fair enough. I was giving him the final thoughts before he went. He's fucked off. That's how he feels.
Do you get where I'm coming from, Kate? Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do. But I also, I don't think that I'm one of these YouTubers that has to be positive, Sean. I think that's a little bit disrespectful. So lay off the white wine, or I'll give you a slap, right?
No.
I just choose to not.
Hold up. All I've heard from you, I watch your shows, mate. You and Jimbo. I watch you in the comment section. I watch you in the fucking WhatsApp group. All you talk about is so negative. It's so negative. Like you want everyone to remain positive, which is fine.
No.
Yeah. Do not wind me up right now. I'm long over 2/3 of a bottle of white wine. The rest is going to get... I'm going to throw the bottle of white wine at you after I'm done with it, okay? Metaphorically through the virtual window, okay? You are asking people to remain positive. You do. I hear you. Yes, you do, Kate. You do.
I'm letting you finish, and then I'm going to bury you. Carry on.
No, bury me in an interaction.
I'm not asking people to stay positive. I'm saying stop moaning, because we can all moan, but it ain't going to change nothing. Airing your concerns is fine. I understand why people are concerned. If we're sat here in a week's time in exactly the same situation after probably losing to Brentford,
okay, so we have to wait.
I will panic.
We have to do it on your timeline, do we?
No. You're allowed to panic. I haven't told you you're wrong.
Kate says it's okay to moan, apparently.
No, you sat there and when I need to understand with your hands why you're panicking. Well, I need to understand why I'm not panicking. I don't need to understand why you're panicking, because I get it. I'm just choosing not to panic because I don't believe that they
until
would.
a certain threshold has passed, at which point you will panic.
Well, if there's a week left and we've done absolutely nothing,
Okay,
and nothing's lined up,
when you complain about people moaning, that's because they haven't currently met your personal threshold of when.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'm listening to everything you're saying.
You're
Am
not.
I wrong, Rain? Am I wrong? Rain,
You're
does she
not.
not come into the WhatsApp group complaining about people moaning? And she's basically
because-
saying, you're moaning too soon. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay, so when is
No,
it okay to moan?
no.
And she just told us. She just told us.
I seem to recall moan.
Yeah,
because I don't understand.
But it's too early to moan. It's too big up to you, by the way.
Sean, because even in a week's time, if I'm panicking, you will not see me sat on stream moaning and bitching.
Oh, you're going to moan at some point,
because we can't
though.
control it.
This is the same thing I'm talking about. Not you personally, but the same. Be up to Eugene for joining. He's a fucking moaner.
Yeah, he's a fucking moaner.
Another moan. But ultimately, when people go 85 minutes, just pay the money. Just pay the money. It's not my money. Just pay the money. Okay, but what happens if the price point becomes 150 million quid? At some point, people like Grumpy Pete, people in the Twitter sphere are going to say it's too much. So you've got a problem with other people thinking that a lesser price point is too much because it's not your threshold. But once your threshold is breached, then apparently it's okay to complain. Not you, Kate, not about you, but about anyone that's watching this that sits there and says everyone that's moaning right now is moaning unnecessarily. Now, what they really mean is I'm not prepared to moan yet because my moaning threshold hasn't been breached. But once it has, then I will also complain. And on that basis, it becomes a little bit subjective. So how about stop telling people to stop moaning? And how about start accepting that people have different thresholds to moan? How you doing, Eugene? Good to see you.
Good
moaning. What are we doing here? Who is moaning about what? I missed the beginning of the show.
Spending 100 million quid on fucking Savinho.
Yeah, it's like, what are our scouts doing? They're doing as much work as us in the WhatsApp group. They're in the whole world. There are only two targets, Gakpo and Savinho, and that's it. It's ridiculous. But I just want this to be over. 100 million or 85 million for Savinho is insane. However, at this point, City has the leverage. Liverpool has the leverage, so they're going to bend us over. It is what it is. But I'm not moaning. I'm happy. We got Tel. I'm excited for Tel, Micky Moore, and Richalison week 1. I'm pumped. Get on board. Whoever's moaning, stop. It's going to be a great season. So stop moaning, Kate.
I ain't moaning. The only time I moan is in bed.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's going to be great.
We got to cover a couple of other things. There's a couple of super chilly chit-chats I want to get to first quickly. Damon Milner's come in and said, Jeremy Pino. Is that that's the Brentford player, isn't it? He went from Spain to Brentford. Was it Brentford or Palace? Palace player, right? He did all right, to be honest. He did all right from January. He did all right, but I don't think he's Tottenham level. Big up to you, though. Kernwood says, prefer you chatting shite on the Magnums? Put it towards a packet, then. I've had a packet for months, bro. I've had a packet for months. But you never know. You know, this is what we do here. We're not like every other Tottenham channel. Every other Tottenham channel, or the vast majority of them, try to present themselves in all seriousness and professionalism. And they just repeat the same bollocks that we all read and hear everywhere else. So we try to do things a little bit different over here. But big up to you, mate. Thank you very much. I won't put it towards a packet, but I'll certainly put it towards something fun. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate you. Appreciate you very much indeed. Eugene.
Can I moan for actually 1 second? I got to get out of my system. I'm really annoyed. Based on what I mentioned, our scouts, you cannot tell me that in the whole world, there is nobody else who is the same profile as Savinho or Gakpo that we can find. It's insane. For the past, a year and a half, we've been looking at Sabio. What's plan B if you cannot get him? Like, there are other players in the world that you can get. If you cannot get Gakpo, there's somebody else who can do the job. Like, what are our scouts doing? Like, it makes no sense to me. And we know that they're not doing anything because there are no links. Usually we're linked with like 1,000 different players. Now we're not linked with anybody. It's
Right.
Savio, it's Gakpo, and that's it. And with 2 weeks left, they wasted most of the transfer window. What's our plan B or plan C? Like, that's what that gets me. If we can't get our plan A, that's fine, it happens. But what's our plan B? What are they being paid for? Like, it's winding me up. What's their job? Like, they're, as I said, they're doing as much work as we're doing on stream or in the WhatsApp group. It's insane. What's the plan B? What's the plan C? This is super annoying.
I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. No, I'm with you. This is the problem. I feel like if Paratici was, I was never really a massive fan of Paratici, but if Paratici was here, he would be dangling other carrots, right? He would have other plates spun in the air.
But how do you know that they're not doing that, Sean?
Because we're not hearing about them. Like,
but if you look into Johan Lang, one of his things that he's famous for is keeping deals really secretive till the last minute. So how do you know? You don't know for sure. I don't know that he is, but you can't say he definitely isn't.
He's famous. He's famous for nothing. He's famous for doing fuck all, Kate. That's what he's famous
actually, for. Eugene, you're wrong there. Because if you Google and read about him, he is famous for keeping his deals quiet. You can hate him. I don't particularly like him. But you can't say with 100% certainty he isn't working on things we don't know about. And I can't say that he is.
But you know what, Kate? Look,
even in a world where tomorrow you heard from Ornstein, Tottenham are closing on a deal for X player. There's literally nobody in the market that Spurs haven't already been linked with that, to me, is particularly appetizing. There really isn't. Like, the market is, it's not just his inactivity that is, you're right, might be defendable by the idea that he kept Eze quiet until it was almost a thing, then it wasn't a thing. He kept Xavi Simons came out of the late out of the traps, whatever. But generally speaking, last season was a little bit more of the kind of late stuff, came out of nowhere, then it was a thing. But there's, like, name me a player that Tottenham haven't been linked with that you can sit there and go, why aren't we linked with him? And it would be amazing if all of a sudden Johan Lang pulls a rabbit out of the hat. Who would that be? Let's be honest. It's not going to be Osimhen, right? It isn't going to be Harry Kane. Everyone's talking about those things as like everyone's putting 2 and 2 together and trying to make it happen. It's entirely unlikely those things are going to happen. In the 9 role, where are those options going to emerge from, Kate?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you to name me a few strikers that you think you would like to see at Tottenham that we haven't been linked with, that you're suggesting that Johan Lang might be doing deals with in the background that might emerge out of nowhere and then become a thing. With 3 days to go before the start of the season and before the registration period.
I don't know who they are because I'm not one who goes and scouts and looks for these players. I mean, there are strikers out there. They may go for a lower level striker and look to develop them. I don't know. I wish I did know, but I don't know. But I just also choose to believe, naive or not, that they wouldn't invest this much money to then leave such a key thing as the front line and put all the eggs in the basket of Savinho and Gakpo with no plan B.
No, I make you right. I make you absolutely right. I think they absolutely intended to splash the cash to get the players in. I just think that they're struggling.
Maybe I agree with
you. I think they're struggling.
And if you look at De Zerbi, right, he specifically said he wanted to bring players in before the training camp. He wanted them as early as possible. Thus, we got Tonali and Fernandes done way early. So he actually told the board, "I want players ASAP." We're leaving players or transfer deals until the last 2 weeks of the window is telling us that they don't know who they want. They're struggling to bring somebody in, as Rain said. And I'm afraid we're going to see, as we always do, a loan deal on the very last day of the window, just to bring in a body. That's what I'm concerned about. The fact is that they're struggling right now, that we're 2 players short, is telling me that they're not sure what they want. And that's puzzling to me. A big club, a top club, would have a plan B and say, hey, City, if you don't want to take our money for Savinho, forget you, we're going to go for somebody else. And the fact that we haven't heard any rumors, any links, other than Osimhen, who is not happening, Gakpo and Savio, to me is mind-blowing. At least give me some rumors. At least Mikautadze is there, but as we talked about it, Sean, he's not really a 9. He's not really a winger. I would take him.
And
I like him a lot.
plays is costing 80 million euros.
Yeah,
Eugene,
that's crazy.
let me just stop for a second, guys. I've completely forgotten to do the Lord's work. I'm sorry, the bills have got to be paid. Guys, as you heard earlier from Rain, who sat on the stream with me, he was one of the guys who purchased Oxford Natural. I'm having fantastic dreams. I'm having fantastic clarity, and I'm really enjoying the process. Rain is also someone that is really enjoying it as well. Just give me a couple of seconds, guys, and we'll be back talking about Tottenham. Some of you may be aware that I've recently begun my own health journey as we move into the second half of 2026. And that's all being shaped and aided by the sponsor of today's video, Oxford Natural, and their new improved formula and recipe for their Optimum Day and Night pill. Now, it's not a miracle cure. You have to put in the hard graft, but essentially it works by taking a tablet in the morning that will keep your cravings at bay, keep your metabolism firing on all cylinders, and make sure that your mind stays sharp and focused and avoids all of those distractions and temptations. Now, they do that by combining the very best ingredients in the game at the right levels to make sure that you can maximize your results. The nighttime pill is essentially about recovery and making sure that you have the best night's sleep possible so that, again, you're not tired in the morning, whereby you're more likely to fall into those temptation traps. Now, look, you can follow my journey and see how I get on, or you can skip ahead here and see exactly what other people that have gone before me have achieved using Optimum Day and Night. We could look at Robbie Lyle from AFTV, who is down over £100 now in his weight loss and health journey. Quite incredible. How about Michael Owen, who's down over £40 in his health journey using Optimum Day and Night. There's also Anita, who is down over £60 now in her journey, and Linda, who is down over 50 in hers. Quite incredible. As I say, it's not a miracle cure, but if you would like to join me on my journey, then we can do this together. And you can do that by going to the link in the description below, or going to the QR code, scanning the QR code. And when you go to the checkout, if you use the code STS70, as in Spurs Talk Show, STS70, then you will get 70% off your first order. And I'd love to see how you get on. We can do this together, guys. Let's get our health back on shape as we move into the second half of 2026. Big up to everyone who has joined the journey so far. Apparently loads of people have. I really appreciate it. Eugene, what were you about to say, mate? Sorry, mate.
No, that's a rant over. I just had to get, off my chest. It's with 2 weeks. I'm afraid we're going to go back and do what we've always done. Last day, we're going to bring somebody like Mwani or, some donut just because we're desperate. And again, I'm concerned about De Zerbi and his mental state, that he specifically asked for players early and he hasn't gotten the players. So I'm concerned a bit. Again, I'm not moaning, I'm not panicking, we're improved, but leaving, and we know, right, if we leave our business until the very end, the teams are going to charge us a lot, right? Doing business early is way cheaper than leaving everything until the last minute. And now the teams are in position of strength. They're going to be asking for 30% more for anybody who we want, especially if they cannot replace the players that we want. So now we're going to have to pay over the odds for players who, as we all know, are not game changers. And let's wait and see.
Yeah, let's wait and see. Pick up
and Kate, stop moaning.
Yeah, Kate's disappeared. She's disappeared for a moan break. Danny Kiriakou, can you turn your fucking camera on, bro? Danny. Oh, is everyone on mute?
We do like the dog. We do like the doggos, though.
Yeah. What are you doing, Danny? What's going on, mate? Sorry, go on, Rain.
Yeah, I keep on, like I said, people keep on trying to suck me into a Enoch good, Enoch bad discussion. And it could, we can hear you, Danny. And we can hear you now. And it is Danny naked again. Right. I don't know. I don't know whether Sean wants that or not. And I just don't think. I think it's clear that Enoch have, or the whatever the exec that are currently here have decided to open the taps. We're spending more money on wages. We're spending more money. We're spending good money on transfers to get good
money
in. Right. We're getting older players in. Right, on short contracts to fill gaps and give us a bit of leadership. You watch Robertson and Senesi, right, do a bit of coaching for the younger players. Like at the weekend, Senesi was doing coaching for Berghvall during the game. Robertson is teaming up with Tel, and he will make Tel a better player. He will make him a better player with this teaming up. These are all good things that our club is doing. And I honestly think that our club has just been hit when we're in the window when we were like, okay, we're coming to play. Everyone else has gone, we're not coming out today. We're not coming out this window. We're staying inside, right? And we're out there with a football on the park, and nobody is joining us. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, mate. I don't think you're wrong. Let me ask you guys this though. Like, do you expect anybody in before? Two questions. Do you expect anybody to be in and available for Saturday's game? And if not, then what you are advocating in to some degree, people in the chat, the defence of Enoch, the defence of the ownership, the defence of our transfer window thus far, we are advocating for a starting 11 that includes, in all likelihood, Mikey Moore as our right-sided winger, Richalison with no backup. If Richalison gets injured, no backup striker, and Mathys Tel, who I love, but a lot of you don't.
Oh.
And if you...
I forgot that's... I need a flip. I need the flip-flop jingle.
Can do it. What are we doing it for, though?
Because I can't decide. I honestly can't decide. I can't decide.
We have a flip-flop. Everyone changes their mind. Like they didn't say that last time. We have
I've been saying no. I've been saying exactly what Kate said. And then, and then Scott M did a really, really good case for where we're not going to get.
Scott M has never made a really, really good case for anything, mate. Apart from potentially offing yourself.
We're not going to get another offer for Richie. So if
you can't sell Richie, Rain. Anybody who I want to see the back of Richalison. I heard this last night. It's fucking the idiocracy. I'm not accusing. Maybe I probably am, but not directly at Scott M, because he is part of a group of people that go into the fucking world and go into the Tottenham zeitgeist in a certain way that don't give a fuck about the context of the situation.
Yeah.
And they are all like, fuck Richie, take 8 million, give him away for free. Cool. Like, none of us rate Richie, or most of us don't rate. Some people do, some people don't. I'm on the I don't rate Richie train. Never have. Never wanted him. I was the only person in the We Are Tottenham TV WhatsApp group a long fucking time ago when we could have signed Anthony Gordon and we didn't. And they were like, he's shit. I said, you're all wrong about that. Danny Kiriakou, you were in that group. You can remember this. And then Richarlison signed a couple of days later, and they were all on the Richie train. And I said, you're all fucking bozos.
I was never on the Richie train. Don't ever say that to me.
No, not you personally, but you were in the WhatsApp group. You remember the conversation, and they were all Ben, Sim, fucking those dickheads, Amir, and all the other bozos, the Scottish fella, whatever his name is. All these guys were like Richarlison is like Richie. I was like, what are we doing here? They are. He's a fucking terrible footballer, a terrible player. Right? none of them want to fucking reflect on that. None of them will acknowledge that.
I never wanted him to sign for Spurs, but right now we can't.
Danny, but you were there. You were there in the moment, right? None of us. I never wanted him to sign for Tottenham. I don't want him to hit the football club now, but I am not advocating that we sell him now.
100%. 100%.
Can't sell him now.
No.
It's mental.
I need to shoot, and so I'm just going to leave this. The problem is not we shouldn't sell Richarlison. The problem is we haven't got an alternative.
Yes.
And ultimately, why are we not saying to Everton, okay, look, we're going to have a think about it, and then we go hell for leather to try and get a striker in? Why that surely that's the sensible path. Is do you know what? Okay, you know, we're going to go away and have a think about it. We'll give us till Saturday, right? And we go and get. I don't care. Mateta's fine. Mateta's fine for us to get. Do you know what I mean? And we just go and get somebody else. That's the problem. The problem is they need to go and do some work.
Big up to you, Rain. Thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate you, bro. Love you, man. Love you. Listen, guys, there's still 1,200 people here. I want to actually just. I don't know if this is a good. Oh, hang on a second. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Danny, can you turn your camera on, mate? Just fucking put.
I literally can't. I'm not on my computer. I literally can't. It's the computers are in bits at the moment. I'm doing some upgrades on it.
You're talking into a phone, then, yeah?
I'm on my headset on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen, there might be something that we will be set up on WhatsApp where I might set up a WhatsApp group that is purely only accessible via searching for a username called Spurs Talk Show, and then it might be open to everybody. Okay, so there's 1,200 people here that are watching. I'm very concerned about, because everyone asks me, I get thousands of messages saying, "Can I join your WhatsApp group?" And generally speaking, the answer is no. Because for one, it's mainly for content creators that I have, and two is you have your number attached to it. But WhatsApp has recently released a feature whereby you can just grab a username. So I'm pretty sure that in the next, if it works out in the next couple of days, I might end up just opening up the Spurs Talk Show WhatsApp group, but hopefully I'll be able to do it in a way that no one can have access to my telephone number. And if so, then all of you can join it, and then you can all act like donuts and bozos, and we can see how this whole thing works out. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster class, but it'll be fun to see it work out. Kate, you all right? Where you been? You okay?
I keep getting these really weird sickness spells. I don't know whether it's the diet or what, but I just had another one of them. So yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I just yeah.
Have you changed your top?
Fine. Have I changed my top?
Yeah.
No, I've got the same top on, Sean.
Oh, okay.
No, thank you for noticing, though.
It's nice. Lovely.
Kate,
No.
Kate, you need that Oxford stuff. Oxford, what it's called?
Your stupid takes.
Did you hear that?
No, what did he say?
Jimbo said, "You're Butler, you're making my wife ill with your stupid takes." I said to Jim, "Oh, I've been really ill again." He went, "It's all that fucking waffle on screen."
Well, the main reason I wanted to come on was to say that Sean needs to. Go on, Sean. Go on.
No, go on, Danny. What are you going to say?
I was going to say you need to bloody stop moaning, mate. All I hear is moaning today.
Thank you.
You're on a moaning rampage today, Shawnee.
No, I'm wound up though. I'm wound up. I feel like it's okay to be wound up every now and again, you know.
But but Sean, haven't you always been on the stance that you still believe we're going to sign players, even though we still haven't done it yet? Thus far.
Thus far, mate. I'm not as impressed with the window as everybody else is. I'm really not. Based on financial kind of the compromises of it. I think that we overpaid on most of our incomings, right? Obviously, Senesi was a freebie, and that was good business. Dubravka, well, listen, there's news out today that Tottenham are making a move for Emi Martinez. I don't believe it, but I mentioned it yesterday, but as an option. But obviously, it's not going to happen, so forget about it. And Robertson, we will come to see whether he's any good or not in the Premier League at this stage. But I think that the best version of him is long gone. And then after that, you've got the people that we paid for. I think we massively overpaid for Van Hecke. Not to diminish how good of a player he is, but 50 million quid for a guy with 1 year left on his contract is insane. And then obviously the other two in the midfield. And everyone knows we overpaid for them. Then we undersold for other players, right? Everyone's like, oh, everybody that's of this notion of clear the fucking decks and pay whatever the fucking asking price is. I'm sorry, but you are incapable of walking and chewing gum at the same time. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, but you are the same people that will forget about your current narrative. And then next season, next summer, when it comes to why aren't we buying £100 million player like next summer? Because we did it last summer, when next summer's economics will be that they're 150 million quid. You won't understand why we can't. And part of the reason why we can't then is because we have now. And the reason why you'll be begging for it then is because some of the players that you bought now may or may not be good enough. You don't know. And I'm someone that fucking sits in the middle of the road. Like I spoke about with Rain. There's people in the middle of the road that are trying to be balanced and going, yeah, there's some good and there's some bad, but it doesn't matter because both extremes, either it's never good enough or it's always acceptable. They're always going to point to the people that disagree with their opinion and say that you're a mug, whereas actually people in the middle of the road are probably the right people because they can see that there are some context to this and there is a lot of context to that. And it winds me the fuck up, Danny, to answer your question, that people can't fucking walk and chew gum. It pisses me off, mate.
Of course,
we are going to overpay
for
for Savinho. He is not going to be worth what we pay for him if we even get him. And back to the more fucking pertinent point is: does Johan Lang have a plan B? Does he have a plan B?
But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's exactly what Kate was saying. Like, just because it's not shown in the media doesn't mean we don't know what their plan is. Maybe Rain's right. Maybe they are struggling to get their number one options right, or maybe just maybe the clubs that they're trying to get them from are still waiting to get their signings in so they can relinquish the players that they want to sell. So there is that element too. And the other thing as well, right? Yeah, I understand. There's. I said this on a few shows actually, but for me, it seems to be a clear vision from the club that they want Premier League experience, right? That it just seems that's what it feels like. So if they're waiting, if the club, if the Zerbi and whoever else have all agreed that they're not going to go for anyone else outside the Premier League unless it's a special player, right? Like an Osimhen or a Kane or someone like that. So which is understandable, right? But if they feeling or unless it gets to the last couple days and they still can't get the players that they want, then they might change their tactic. Who knows, right? But as it stands right now, it seems that they want the two players that we all know about, right? But it also looks like the players that those clubs are trying to buy. If you look at the market, like you said, Sean, the market is. Look at how much PSG supposedly want Barcola. They want 140 million euros. He's not worth anywhere near 140 million euros. But the problem is the market
is
worth
30% more than Savinho, though, isn't he?
I don't know. I mean,
yes.
I don't know.
Easy.
I don't know.
He's worth far more than that.
Danny, there's
Why
no.
is Savinho fucking done, bro?
No, I never said that Savinho is worth that money, but I'm saying that unfortunately you have to pay what the club wants.
Even in the context of an amplified and extrapolated, overpriced market, you can still create comparables. If Bradley Barcola goes for 125 million euros, which is what is asked at the moment, which is about 110 million pounds.
It's more than that they want, apparently. It's more close to 125 million pounds.
Let's just use that. 130 million pound, right? I'm sorry, 130 million, 110 million pound. On that basis, even though that is bonkers, is that more or less bonkers relatively than a geezer who's been in the Premier League for 2 fucking years and has scored 2 goals?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just whatever. I get that, and I'm someone who'd prefer to go outside the Premier League, right? But I understand what they're doing, and again, Sean, I agree with you when you say if they cannot get their number one option, then they must have a number two. And if we end up with not signing a single attacker by the end of this window, then it's a complete failure from the club. and everyone involved, right? Whether that was Lange's direction of saying we need to get Premier League proven players, then he should be sacked, right? I mean, he should have been sacked anyway. He's not fit to run this football, not fit to be a director of football this football club. So unfortunately, then the pressure can't be on De Zerbi if the club have decided they're not gonna go outside the Premier League for players, because if they don't, then
unless it's De Zerbi that said no, I want Prem proven only.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I think the club have said that's what they want as a strategy, and he's agreed to it, right?
No, I think that's what De Zerbi has said that he wants as a strategy, and the club have agreed to it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't believe it, Sean.
Way.
We wanted Savinho last season, right? There is no way you can tell me that De Zerbi, who again, my opinion, might be looking at the profiles. He said I wanted a touchline winger. That Savinho is the only player he wants.
Eugene, look at the players that we targeted last summer. They were all Premier League players. Morgan Gibbs-White, Eze, Savinho, all of the players that we targeted were Premier League players, right? Apart from Xavi Simons, he was the only one who was outside, and that was because we didn't get our number one target, who is Morgan Gibbs-White, right?
100%.
So there is an argument then to say that Spurs must have something lined up in case they cannot get those targets. They cannot be. I do not believe that Spurs are only talking to Savinho and Liverpool for the two players we want to bring in. I think that would be, if that is, I cannot believe that in my.
But look at the history, Danny. Like, based on what, again, none of us know what's actually happening behind the closed doors, right? But if you look at the history of Lange and how we do business, when was the last time we went from plan A to plan B to plan C? Like, I just don't recall this, team, the club going through, all these steps to get a player who might not be their plan A. I just haven't seen it in the past. So maybe it's happening in the background. Maybe there are no rumors. Maybe it's a secret that nobody has any idea about. But personally, based on history, I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. If Lange signs somebody other than Savio or Gakpo in the next week or two out of the left field, big up to him. I'll be impressed. I'll give him credit. I just haven't seen it in the past. And my opinion, I'm not sure that that's happening. And Sean, one last thing where, sorry, I disagree with you about overpaying. I'm saying I'm perfectly fine overpaying for top players. Overpaying for Tonali is fine. I would overpay for him because we have a hard time attracting top players. Overpaying for average players, that's an issue. That's when we're stuck with somebody who we cannot shift, and there's an opportunity cost. So,
but then
again,
it's also there's also the argument of, do the club want to risk going for a player that's not played in the Premier League to a player that actually has played in the Premier League? For example, Savinho, is 22 years old, right? I've always said this, that I don't think he was played the right way at Man City, and his best position, in my opinion, is the left wing. So if De Zerbi feels that that's the player that he wants for the left wing, and he's got plans for how he wants to improve him and grow him as a player, he could end up being, I think someone else said it on the stream,
100 million fucking euros.
We're not going to pay 100 million euros for it. It's not going to be that much.
Well, that's what the fucking they've just lost.
I don't believe a word those articles say.
Just lost Jeremy Doku, Danny. They just lost Jeremy Doku.
We don't know how long he's going to be out for, and I think is that really, if it's a couple of weeks, if it's a month, is that really going to affect the transfer window for them? Look at the players they've got. Look at the players they got.
After what happened on Sunday, 100%, mate. 100%.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see, right? Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Come on, you can't pay permanent fucking prices, baked in prices for quality. It's the same. Exactly the same fucking argument about Evan Ferguson. Brighton wanted 100 million quid. They were pricing in perfection for a kid that hasn't done it. Savinho hasn't fucking done it. The thing that winds me up more than anything else is these people that sit there and pretend like Savinho is this magic fucking cure for all of Tottenham's winger ails, when I'm like, based on what the fuck has he done in the Premier League? and they go, well, in Girona he was great.
Now, in his first season, he got like 9 or 10 assists. In his first
He
season,
got
playing on the right.
He got 8 assists. He got 8 assists and 1 goal in his first season. Okay.
Yeah, for a 21-year-old coming into the Premier League, that's a fucking good return.
That was great. That was good. It was fairly good.
Playing on the right wing.
Fairly good.
On his unfavoured position.
There is no discernible difference between him and Mathys Tel on fucking output, on input, on stats. In fact, if anything, Mathys Tel's input factors are better. I'm not making the argument for Mathys Tel. I'm making the comparable argument. It's winding me the fuck up because the same people that tell me that Savinho is clear would have you believe that Tel is dog shit. And they would sell him for 20 million quid whilst at the same time looking over the fucking grass, looking over the fence and thinking that the grass is greener because this kid has gone to Manchester City. He went to City from their own club for 25 million euros. And now, after doing the square root of fuck all in the Premier League from Girona, where he was impressive, he comes to the Premier League and he's done fuck all. And now we're supposed to pay 4 times more money for him. Why? On what fucking basis? No one can answer me that. It's just, I don't fucking rate Tel and our fucking season is shit and we got to get someone in. They think that Savinho is going to move the fucking needle. And I've noted every single person that says that. People like this fucking donut, who's a member of the show, so I appreciate I reckon you're a member of the show because you were gifted one from Blaine rather than you actually being a paid up member. But you're a fucking donut. You are a donut if you think that Tel is a fucking shit show and you're also supporting the idea of spending 4 times what Manchester City paid to their own fucking sister club for Savinho, who has done the square root of fuck all in the Premier League. You are a donut, Thomas, or whatever your fucking name is. I don't believe you're a member of the show by your own volition. I think you got gifted one, you lucky bastard. I think you are absolutely in the donut zone. I'm sorry, I'm getting wound up here by people that are saying just pay the fucking money because you'll all forget that you said it when next summer we haven't got the money to spend on these replacements that you'll need to keep us improving with your demands that are insatiable. It's winding me the fuck up.
I get that, Sean, why people are winding you up. But like with the Savinho thing, no, I agree. He's not proven it on the left hand side anyway, right? But you can see he's got talent, and if you're looking at it, for me, I think Savinho would give Tel really good competition. That's
85 million, Danny, just for competition is nuts.
Yeah,
again, it's not my money, right?
I get that,
talent,
Eugene.
but
I get that, right? But the problem is, in order to start becoming a better football team, you need to be bringing better football players in. And we, at this moment in time, if you look at our front line, we can't really be picky and choosy. We need to get players who are better than what we have. Savinho.
How much did Liverpool pay? Danny, how much did Liverpool pay for what's his name? Ndai?
Sorry, Tom Purphy did. Sorry, Tom Purphy did. Yeah, he did. I apologise, bro. I apologise. I thought you were one of the lucky 500 that have been gifted memberships from Blaine. I apologise to you, bro. I apologise. But you're still a donut for saying that shit. You're still a donut.
Who's the player? who's the player you're talking about, Eugene?
The winger that Liverpool have brought in, and what's his name? And something, and I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Which Liverpool?
They just brought him in a couple of days ago.
Did they bring a winger in?
No, and I
don't
know how to say his name. Liverpool, the winger that they brought in.
Well, I don't know what winger
they're trying to bring in and buy from PSG.
Yeah. So, how much is he going for? And buy, yeah. How much is he going for?
Oh, they haven't brought him in yet, Eugene.
Yeah, he's a kid, and he's 18 years old, and he's got all the potential in the fucking business. He's very talented, but he's not the. If Tottenham brought him in right now, they would park him on the Tel bench immediately because
I'm wondering the fee. I'm wondering how much he's going for.
He's a right winger as well, Sean.
I think they're going to go for I think he's going to go for 60 million euros.
More. Even more, Eugene. That's what I mean.
That's
so, like
crazy.
an average price of a winger nowadays. This is the problem. An average price of a winger right now, you're looking at 70, 80 million euros, right? So 60, 50, 60, 70 million pounds, maybe a bit more, right? That's the average price for a winger. Barcola, they're talking about 140 million euros. That's like 120, 25 million pounds. Like that's insanity money. Like it's crazy. But that is, look at what Diamonde went for, 125 million pounds. Wasn't it 125 or 125 million euros? Sorry.
Yeah, but he's a
I
different
mean,
level. I mean, he's
of
a different
course,
level from Savinho.
of course, but I'm saying that look at the
Yeah.
difference in the prices. It's like 50 odd million from what we would have to pay for Savinho to what
No, of
Real
course.
Madrid paid for Diamonde, right? And if you're looking at today's market, that's kind of what you expect to pay for a winger nowadays. We got 50 million pounds for Vuskovic, and we want 60 million pounds for bloody Berghvall. I mean, it's gone mad. So to me, I just want the players to come in, and I don't care how much they cost. If we have to pay 150 million pounds for Gakpo and Savinho, they improve our squad. For me, that I take that every single day.
I mean, but Danny, they definitely improve our squad short term for sure. There's no argument. But the question
Udogie,
is, when you pay high wages for players who are not elite, and you put them on 5-year contracts, then they're stuck on the squad for the next 5 seasons. And we've always had an issue with shifting players, right? So the question is, are they
I
good
get
enough
that.
for the project long term?
I get that too, right? But if they believe in them, the only way that you'll know is by bringing them in and seeing what the manager can
Yeah.
do with them, right? And unfortunately, we're at a stage where we did finish 17th twice. Our whole team was basically championship level, right? We've now improved the defense in the midfield to make it a Premier League level, and now we need a bit more of a Premier League attack. So regardless of the quality of the players, we have to bring in, right, players that can play in the Premier League who are experienced, or players who can play at that level, right? And the problem is when you bring in players outside of it, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get what you'd expect or what you'd want. But whereas if you take it's a less risk if you bring in Premier League players, right?
Hey, that's me.
And
I'm Prem
also,
Proven guy. I agree.
yeah,
I'm all about Prem Proven.
and
But
also Eugene,
but
just one more thing, right? One more thing. I also think that if you're I've just lost it. Fuck it. I've lost it.
I think you lost that a while ago, mate.
Can I just quickly, before I welcome Dan into the show, we won't be going for too much longer, Dan, but it's great to have you on, mate. I think we
cool.
were. There's someone that's saying something about like Sean, chill the fuck out. This one here, you can't have when they're drinking and hosting, mate. First and foremost, it's all banter, it's all fun. Okay, I don't take anything too seriously. It's all a bit of a wind up. Second of all, if you don't like it, bro, you ain't got to watch. Okay, you don't have to watch. Second of all, to this other geezer, this other donut who says, like, Sean, we get it. Here we go. This one here, Shantanu. The fuck is that for a name? I don't know why Tel versus Savio is the argument. Like, chill the fuck out, Sean. We hear you. You love Tel. Like, again, mate, you don't have to watch, okay? This is the way I conduct my content. Everybody else in content, right? If you want to go and watch fucking We Are Tottenham or Last Word on Spurs or Sarah or fucking Oso Spurs or anyone else, they all treat this kind of conduct, this communication of their opinions like they are, and there's no disrespect to them, I understand why they do it, but they all conduct this environment as though they are bringing to you like a fucking newsreel, like it's Sky Sports or it's BBC. They are not bringing you new information. They are just bringing you the same information that we all do. They do it in their own way, but professionalism and awesomeness and like stiff upper lip and put your fucking tie on, that's cool for them. It's not for me. I know Dan's had a bit of a fucking nightmare in the last couple of days, from what I've heard. Right? Like some people just want to bring you the same information as everyone else does with a different sort of mode. If you want people to pretend like they are Sky Sports News, there are plenty of channels out there. We don't do it that way here. Lots of channels do. I personally don't. We have fun. We try to bring you entertainment in our own way. If it's not for you, then fuck off. Politely go and find somewhere else. Okay? Don't tell us how to do our content. Same for Danny. Same for anybody else that's out there that gets a hard time for doing it their own specific way. If it's not for you, just like exit stage left. You don't need to be here. It's not a problem. Dan, how you doing, man?
All right. Been a long day.
Before you interrupt, I just want to I had the point. I remembered it now. For me, just bringing in the Premier League players like in Gakpo and Savinho, that improves the squad. And what I want to see is them keep doing the same thing. And for the next window, I'd like to see them bring in more. basically, and keep improving it. That's how you build a squad. That's how you keep improving the squad level. You have to get better players in, but you have to then keep getting better players in. So that's why for me, it has to be them. Go on, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, been a long day. What I think we should do.
have you had shit going on as well? You had accusations thrown at you as well. I know. Yeah.
That's neither here nor there, mate. The way I look on it is exactly the way you said it. I'll be myself on there. If you don't like it, fuck off and watch something else. Simple as that, basically. Yeah. I can't be plastic on the show to keep people happy. But each their own. Whatever turns you on at the end of the day. Some like blonde hair, blue eyes. Some like black hair, blue eyes. Whatever turns you on.
But if people are trying to get onto Sky Sports, guess what? There's a fucking long queue of people that are trying to get on Sky Sports. You won't find that on Dan's channel. You won't find that on this channel. Right? This is what we do our own thing. We're not trying to get on anyone else. We're not trying to be fucking Sky Sports. We're trying to do our own thing. Sorry, Dan. Carry on, mate.
I think that maybe we need to put Savinho aside because it is starting to get a bit frustrating now. I think most people accepted that whoever we were going to go for, we was going to be paying. If it's in Premier League, you've got the extra 25% price usually, and where everyone knows Spurs has got a bit of money and knows Spurs are very desperate, you add another 25% onto the price. Just random numbers, basically, but just saying why we have to pay that much more. Same as getting rid of players. If we're going to sell them out the Premier League, you know you're losing 30-40% of the price of it. We need goals. We need players in other positions as well. Do you know what? I'd forget about the left. I'd go more for a number 10. I'd go and make a crazy bid for someone who I know isn't injury prone, has Premier League experience, can score goals, can set up goals, is an out-and-out playmaker. We are that desperate. Do you know what? I'll go stick 100 million on the table and say for Morgan Gibbs-White and say, do you know what? Take Berghvall as well.
You're my spirit animal, Dan. 1,000%. I've been getting so much hate for saying that Maddison is unreliable. We need a proper number 10 who we can rely on. Gibbs-White, for me, was always the number one target this window.
Much better overall player.
He's a difference maker. He is. I don't think we can get him, unfortunately, but for me, you're spot on.
That's why you've got to go and make an offer like that, because if it's like I said, if you want what you want, you've got to pay what they want. And if it's 25% extra or 25 million over or whatever, if you absolutely want it that much, then that's just life. You're going to have to pay for it, whether it's eBay, whether it's football, whether it's whatever. If you want it, you're going to have to pay for it. It's not so easy to just go into football and put the player in a bag and walk out like a lot of people do in Sainsbury's or whatever. It's not quite as simple as that. So we're going to have to pay the money. I think Morgan Gibbs-White, he's homegrown. You can even push that bit aside. He scores goals. The way he plays football can bring it into the game. He isn't as much of a playmaker as Maddison or as good at passing, but he's definitely more consistent. He's definitely more available in the game as such. Doesn't just appear for 10 passes and then disappear as such and then appear again. That's because Maddison is an old school playmaker. That's what they do. He's one of the few that's still very good at it. He knows what he's going to do with a ball before he gets it. But I think I would rather have Morgan Gibbs-White there because he's a better overall player. If you add it all up together, he's definitely a better overall player, much more consistent. He will get you goals. He will set up some goals. And he will also give us a bit of muscle up there as well and not get broken so easy as Maddison does. Because if we're going to be on
if Tottenham could sign Morgan Gibbs-White, Dan, if Tottenham could get that one done, that would be the highlight.
I would put a stupid offer on there, like some would say, like with the price that we've gone and put on Tonali and stuff like that. We go for him. It's going to be stupid money we got to pay. So Morgan Gibbs-White, go and stick 100 mil on there, and there you go. Take Berghvall as well, and see if that can turn ahead.
You wouldn't even need to do 100 mil. You do 80 million Berghvall.
Well,
right?
Well, either way, whether it's that or 100 million, I'd go and put an offer on there that even if they don't want it, it's at least going to turn their head.
I would pay as much as they want. A player like Gibbs-White
is
as much
as they want. No, stop with that bollocks. You can't do that. Generally, I hear what you're saying though, Eugene. Like you'd pay an unreasonable price for him, right?
But he's a top player, son, right? He's a level raiser. Like I'm okay overpaying for level raisers.
Price point? If they wanted 200 million quid, you're not going to do it, are you?
I mean, like 120, I would pay. Like for Savio,
you'd pay more for Morgan Gibbs-White than you would for Morgan Rogers.
Yes. Again, for us, he's a difference maker, right? Like Savio, overpaying for Savio, for me, No, because he's a risk. Gibbs White, you know what he brings. You know that he's going to take us up a level. An extra 10 million or 20 million for having a top player, for me, I'm always overpaying for quality, right?
I'd rather do that than pay 85 million for Savinho.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I'm with you. I actually think, I think you could make the argument that given that what we have to start the season, okay, Mikey Moore's not fantastic, but Kudus is right around the corner. Hopefully, you have Decky around the corner, not far behind him. You've got Odebear also in the midst within at some point, before the halfway point in the season. I think that a 10 that can also hang off the right hand side, Morgan Gibbs White to me feels more holes than Savinho
Simmons
does.
comes
So
back.
that
He can do the
sort of
10 and
right?
the left.
If you're getting to that level, then I'm with you. I'm with you. I 100% agree with you. 100%.
Because Simmons comes back. Simmons, he played on the left more than he did on the central out in Germany. Not by much, but his GA was actually better on the left as well. I personally think that we got what's his name to play Savage to play on the left. I think we actually got him to take Son's place personally because we already had Maddison there. I think we actually got him to play on the left, Simmons to cut in. But when he comes back, then you've got someone who can also cut on the left with whoever we got there, whether it's Tel or Gakpo, whatever, if we have anyone else there. And then you've still got Maddison and Morgan Gibbs White to go in the middle. And on a worst case scenario, you can either play Maddison on the left. He's played it before. Be very good at crossing the ball. And I just feel with Morgan Gibbs White, it gives us more option than putting Savinho on the left on his own. And I think money wise, I think he's a significantly better proven player. Savinho has had 50, 60 games in the Premier League and he's scored 4 goals, something like that. He's not that goal scorer we need, I don't think.
But it's not going to happen then. The Marinakis is not going to lose Gibbs White after losing Anderson. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. I just don't see it.
Listen, guys, we've been going for nearly 2.5 hours. Sorry, Dan, I know you just joined, mate, but we've been going for a long fucking time. I got a load of work I got to do after this as well. Guys, we're gonna round off. Quick question for you all, if you don't mind me asking. Do you see anybody joining the football club? Yes or no? But between now and Friday, which I think will be for the deadline for our game on Saturday.
No. Yes.
No for Dan. Yes for Danny.
Yep.
And Eugene.
Yes.
You think someone's going to join this week?
I think we're going to overpay for somebody. Yeah, I think we're getting desperate.
Agree.
Yep.
I hope so.
Agree.
I'm not sure.
Agree, Eugene.
I don't think we're going to get anybody in. There's going to be a participant in our first team squad for Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, not. I don't know anybody right now is ready, but I think we'll bring somebody in. I don't think they're going to play though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree, Eugene.
And how many people do you think will sign before the end of the window? What have we got? It's the 18th today, so 13 days before the end of the window.
2 weeks. I think 3.
I say 1 and 1 loan. 1 signing and 1 loan.
1 signing, 1 loan.
We love loan deals.
I think 2 signings, 1 loan.
Dan, what are you saying, mate?
I could see 2 happening, but I think it's going to be 1.
Yeah.
I mean, in that aspect, if we're going to do that, then depending how fit he is, then why not, if we do go for Savinho and get him, then why not get Grealish as well to cover the left and also a 10?
No.
Well, he done perfectly fine at Everton until he got injured. He was doing really well.
Him.
I'd play him as the number 10, personally.
Yeah,
I'd take him on loan and play him as a 10. He's better than what we got, Eugene.
Jack Grealish.
No, I'm not saying the quality isn't there. Just him and Maddison together.
Buy him. I'm saying get him on loan. And then Maddison, we know Maddison is going to get broken at some stage or another. And Grealish can cover left and a number 10.
On loan, I take him. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get him on loan. You're talking about getting a player on loan. I'm saying if we do get Savinho, get Grealish as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
100% with you there, Dan.
Let me just do a couple of super chilly chit chats. By the way, guys, don't forget, you can on the Spurs Hub, you can participate in the Predictions League. Go to spurshub.co.uk/predictor, Premier League predictor. Play the game, go and figure it out. It's amazing. And also the Last Man Standing game is also available. You can open it up for private and public leagues as well. So all of you can play with your friends alongside everybody else. It's all for free. Go and figure it out. SpursHub.co.uk. Koy's 12th man. Big up to Koy's 12th man. Says Spurs linked with Igor Matananovic. Interesting. Haven't seen that one.
Seen the links, but I don't know anything about him.
No more Igors. Igor Tudor was the last Igor for me.
We're writing that name out. It's a bit like Adolf. You know, no one was called Adolf after a certain period of time. Igor, no more Igors when it comes to Tottenham. Fair enough. We like that. That's sensational. Hazed 1009 says, if you're going to 100 million, there's many other options. Well, yeah, listen, I agree with you. That's the point of the show. Apart from if all of those 100 million suddenly become 120 millions, which I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's fucking wild. Big up to Hazed. DC Pandora from Australia says De Ketelaere can play. What a player he is, by the way. Great player. I'll take him all day long and twice on Sunday. He can play centre forward, cam, or right wing. 25 years old. He's big. He's 6'3", $35 million. I don't believe that.
You don't like him, Dan, do you, De Ketelaere? Or is it you do like him?
I did like him up until last season. He did not have a good season at all. He's a player that I wouldn't say no to personally, but I wouldn't say he's a first choice. But last season he did not have a good season.
What's his position?
I'd say he's more of. I'd say he can play in a few positions, but he's usually covered more as a cam, basically, or a false.
Yeah, he's not a 9. He's not a.
But again, it's an option that improves the team there. And you go to Italy and go shopping, you can practice. Tottenham, apart from Como, can bully any team out in Italy, whether it's Juventus, whether it's AC, whether it's Inter, whether it's Roma, whether it's Lazio, even Napoli to an extent, because Italy is absolutely broke except Como. They are the only team out there with serious money, and they can't spend it either.
Yeah, 100%. Just to finish off the man's super chat, he says, Ndai, Nusa, Shelderup, El Mala, Ismail Sarr, Llewellyn.
Like Sarr.
Who's Llewellyn? I don't know who Llewellyn is. There's loads of options. The rest of them, I agree. I'll take any of those names. I would take any of those names. They would cost you nothing like what we're currently looking to pay for the other two names. Big up to you, DC Pandora. Big up to you, mate. Appreciate you. Stop by again. Good super chat. Roy is a new member. Big up to you, Roy. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you very much indeed for your support. We'll see you soon on the fan show. Tommy Castillo says, prediction, we go to Brentford, watch the attack line have a stinker. I'm going to ignore the next bit. And we spend the bread for Savinho. What do you guys think? Love the show. Big up to you, Tommy Castillo. Well, actually, it's a good point. Actually, I'll finish on this. Let me come back to it. 1 second. Daniel Field, big up to you, mate. Thank you very much for the 1,000 jewels, Danny boy. Appreciate you, mate. Very generous, pal. Appreciate the jewels. Let me ask you this, guys. Last little thing then. I've got to be honest. I'm going to do a preview show tomorrow or Thursday or Friday for sure. But I've heard a lot of people saying that they would take a draw away at Brentford. I think Brentford away is a stinker, an absolute fucking stinker of a first league game for De Zerbi. I think it's a horrible place to go. They're very, very good at getting results. They can sit in very, very deep, make you feel like you're comfortable, and then they can pounce and pivot and make you feel pain. I don't know about this whole thing around we'll see what we do in the front line because they're going to sit in deep. Right, they're going to sit in very, very deep, probably against us. What's your take, guys? Just quick, sort of 30 seconds each. Brentford away. Eugene, I'll start with you. We'll just go quick clockwise. What are you expecting from the game, and what is your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's going to be a tough game. If we'd bring in somebody last week, I would go potentially for a 2-1 win, but I can see a 1-1 draw. It wouldn't be the worst result. Again, I think
score draw.
We'll do fine. I don't see us scoring a lot of goals, and Brentford is pretty decent defensively, especially at home. So, I mean, I would obviously hope for a win for 2-1, but I can see a 1-1 draw. I wouldn't be too upset.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are predicting score draws, Dan. And when they do predict score draws, that usually means that they're sort of open-minded to a loss. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit both. Brentford they're just one of those nightmare teams to play. They're like what Bolton used to be, like just totally take you apart, but like ankles wise. But they're very organised as well. If I'm going to be honest, I'm more expecting, might not be the right word, but I'm expecting more of a win against Newcastle than I am against Brentford.
Oh, for sure.
So Brentford, I would take a draw.
Yeah.
Okay. Danny Kiriakou?
I think we're going to beat him 2-1. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I think Brentford are going to have a lot more of the ball than us. I think they'll have a lot more of the ball than us. They'll probably have more chances, but I think we're gonna snatch it. It's going to be very, very close. I don't think we'll lose the game.
I mean, we're just so thin. If you look at the options, sorry, Sean. Archie Gray on the right, Mikey Moore, Richalison and Tel. It's
it's a thin fucking starting 11, isn't it?
Stick Gray on the right hand side. He's going to be walking off of that like John Wayne.
Well, I mean, Porro, Gray. Yeah, it's yeah.
All eyes on Mathys Tel. All eyes on Mathys Tel.
He's going to be the key. He's going to be the key.
If we don't bring in someone better, like we are going to this whole idea of like attacking down both sides is going to be like Mikey Moore might benefit from and he looks like someone that can get to the back post and put things in the back of the net, so that's fine. But at the moment, I see our front three as being Mikey Moore, Richarlison, and Tel. We are going to front load our left hand side against Brentford's right back. We'll talk about that tomorrow or over the rest of the week. Guys, I want to say a massive thank you. There was unbelievable numbers today. There was like 1,500 people watching for the vast majority of the show. Insane stuff. Please get over and support Danny the Hotspur Hood. Let me get his link for you. Hang on a second. And big up to Kate. Kate had to leave because she was feeling sick. I should have had taken a moment to wish her well. I'm doing it now. Big up to her. I've already put her link out. The link will be in the description as well. There's Danny's Hotspur hoodie. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to Dan. Danny Kiriakou, thank you very much for coming on. Please, for fuck's sake, bro, in the future, put your camera on, bro. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's in a podcast. It's a fucking YouTube channel. Part of the game is having your face out. Big up to Eugene as well for coming on, and for Rain for stepping in late. Rain was brilliant for the whole show. He was there until he had to disappear. Appreciate everyone. We love you all, and we will see you later on. Enjoy your evening. What day are we today? Tuesday. We are Tuesday. Don't forget, Spurs Hub, new games, season-long games start on Friday. Deadline is an hour before kickoff. If you want to participate throughout the season, it'll be a good fucking idea to get involved before the season starts, because otherwise you're going to be playing catch-up. Love you all. Be up to everyone, and I'll see you later on. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the subscribers, and thanks for the super chats. Take care, guys. Bye.